for broke.
I don't care.
This here's a professional show.
I know. We like to keep mics in frame.
That's right.
It lets you know that we're real.
Yep. All right. We are live.
Live!
Welcome to Talking Heads, everybody. Episode 116, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. We lose track so
I
often.
lose count.
So
I think it's
often.
116. Your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
And Rambo just came in.
Rambo just came in.
Yep.
And the kitty's here.
Yep.
And who are you?
Oh, I'm Steve.
You completely
Yeah,
missed it.
I forgot.
Welcome to the show, everybody. So glad you could join us here on a Wednesday night or Thursday morning, depending on where you are in the world. If you've never seen the show before, again, we stream about once a week. We do drink beer on the show, but we try to keep the show as family-friendly as humanly possible, both in language and content, so everyone is welcome to join.
Yep.
Usually there's a disclaimer if we're going to go off the rails, though, so just FYI. We do partake in beverages here, so get used to it.
Good, because I'm thirsty.
And hold on, I got some flicker on my lights there. If I dim them too much, they'll start to flicker and go crazy. Tell you what, we're just going to go color.
There we go.
There we go.
I like that color.
That looks better. Ooh,
Nice.
I like that.
It's kind of purplish teal.
We'll go with that for tonight.
Yeah. All right.
So we do drink beer on the show. During the early part of the show, if you have a beverage of choice, alcoholic or not, go ahead and let me know in the chat, and we usually try to give some shout-outs.
Oh, hello. There's Rambo.
Hi, Rambo. The kitty. All right. So, welcome, everyone. Steve, what are we drinking tonight?
Oh, wait. We have some really good stuff. So when we were at CES, as you well know, because you were there also. As was
I did attend.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah. So from the E-Technics crew, Andy gave us this Bishop's Finger.
Yes.
From the UK. So this is a UK exclusive beer. I've never seen this before here, so I'm kind of excited to try it and see what it's like.
I've never tried this. This is from Shepherd Neem.
Yeah.
Neem, I believe is how you pronounce the name on it there.
I cannot wait to smell Bishop's Finger.
Yes. It's a Kentish strong ale known as Bishop's Finger. And mainly we're drinking this on the show because Andy wanted to hear me say Bishop's Finger on the air. So I'm going to say Bishop's Finger as many times as I can possibly say Bishop's Finger while we're live. So stay tuned for a little bit more Bishop's Finger.
Of course, Bishop's Finger.
Yep. This one is from Bill's Brewery up in Michigan. This is Hop Slam Ale. Now, someone sent this to me, and I'm not sure who.
Yeah, I mean it's a fairly notorious IPA, very popular.
Yes.
I've personally not had it, so I'm kind of excited.
In
for
fact,
this
I think
one.
there's at least a first name on the package.
Is there?
Yeah.
It says two.
Sean.
Sean.
So Sean, viewer of the show, not one of my patrons, but viewer of the show. Thank you for the 6-pack of Hop Slam.
Yeah.
I am definitely looking forward.
I'm looking forward to it.
I've never had this one.
Yeah, neither have I.
So yeah, double IPA and 10%.
Yeah,
so
it's a big one.
It's a big one. And then you brought over this guy here.
Yeah, I brought a Great Notion beer, which is a excellent brewery here in the Pacific Northwest, Portland specifically. And this is the Double Fudge Coconut Brownie. It is a 10% dark fudgy coconutty stout. Mm-hmm. So this one is going to be absolutely delicious. I hope.
I've heard really good things.
Yeah, it gets like a 4.15 average on Untapped, so
pretty solid.
It's going to be a good beer, I think.
Let's start with a little Bishop's Finger.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Want to get the last?
I will.
All right, let's see what we got.
Old school on our glassware.
Sure. Oh yeah, Spotted Cow. I know we got some Spotted Cow coming our way, and I cannot wait to try some of that. Pyramid Hef, yes, good. Pyramid Hef's awesome.
Very nice. Beer and or Crown Royal. Rambo Bomb, Rambo Pounce.
Yeah. John says he wrote it wrong. The label meant for John. Well, you wrote it wrong, so too bad. It's for me now.
All right. Really interested in the Hop Slam, as am I.
Yeah.
Kind of interested in the Bishop's Finger.
Bishop's Fingers too, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go give some of this a shot here. Can't wait to smell some of the Bishop's Finger. Where it's been, I don't know.
That's right. How they brewed Bishop's Finger? It's all a mystery.
It's probably some guy named Bishop.
It's probably some big international
Stuck his finger in there. And that smells Just like a standard lager to me, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say brown ale, but no, it's just a lager.
It smells like a standard lager.
Yeah, a little maltier maybe.
Maybe.
Just yeah. There's not a lot there. There's not a lot to Bishop's Finger.
No, it's not offensive, but it's not like super flavorful.
Yeah. I have to say, if something's poking out, there might be like a little bit of butterscotch or something.
Maybe nothing really molesting my taste
but
buds
it's not real prevalent.
No.
It's a solid enough beer.
I mean, it tastes pretty average.
I kind of like the taste of Bishop's Finger.
I wouldn't spit out Bishop's Finger.
By the way, the show is already going off the rails. Citrusolo IPA from Lead Dog, very nice. Yeah. Appleton Estate 21 year.
Oh my god, yeah. Ooh. So I got to try a little before the show, and I think you took a picture and posted on Discord. Was the coffee Kraken?
Yes.
Which was amazing. It was so good.
Yeah.
I gotta pick myself up a bottle of this stuff. It tasted like an Irish coffee already made.
Yeah.
You take a sip of this stuff and you just immediately taste coffee. It's absolutely delicious, especially if you like coffee.
And I didn't catch this before. It's 66.6 proof.
Oh, nice. So it's a little bit higher than now. Oh no, it's slower. It's low. So it's like 30%.
But 666.
666.
Yeah.
So it's
the Kraken limited edition Black Roast. It's a coffee rum. It's like the best Kahlua and coffee you've ever had.
Yeah, it is. It is quite excellent. Yeah.
Yep. And really dangerous. Yeah. Never expected the bottle to be clear. Someone said Toppling Goliath Twisted Galaxy for me tonight.
Oh wow, that's the Toppling Goliath.
Yeah, that's John J.
Yeah.
Saying hello to Rambo. He says hello back. He's investigating my couch right now.
Chilling on the couch. Yeah.
Is it a fresh bottle? You guys keep stuttering and replaying. Is anyone else having a hard time with the stream?
Yeah. Be good to know if we're having any kind of technical difficulties.
So I can lower it down just a touch here. Let's try that. Poking out, that'll be the Bishop's Finger.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into a little bit of beer news. So again, if you haven't seen the show, we do about 20 minutes of beer news right up front. Yep. Following beer news tonight, we actually have some beer mail to open. Yeah. From Novell Hub over on my Discord. He sent me a nice big package of beer from Minnesota, so can't wait to open that.
See what's in there.
Then we're going to jump into a little over an hour of tech news, and then the end of the show is kind of whatever goes. And I'm sure today we'll be talking predictions for Star Trek Picard.
I have my theories.
I have my theories as well. So I think it might be kind of nice to air them so we can watch Star Trek Picard in 3 hours when it's out. Yeah. All right, let's get into it. You and I especially are the bourbon and whiskey drinkers of the four of us.
Yes.
We're John and Rhett kind of appreciate them. I've got 18 bottles.
We go to an extreme detail with dissecting the flavors and stuff.
Yeah, whiskeys and gins and
John's just like, oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, all right.
No, I like. I smell some caramel notes in here. Smell green apple, all that type of stuff. We both do that.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm always interested when you have these collaborations that come out, particularly when they're famous people, when they're not people who are normally associated with beer or alcohol or whiskey or anything like that. Alice in Chains is coming out with a bourbon. Yep. And supposedly it's pretty flippin' good.
I hope so, because the Metallica one sucked.
Yes.
It was not
that
good.
was terrible.
That was a horrible one.
Although exactly what I would expect out of a Metallica whiskey.
Yeah. I mean, their whiskey matches their music.
I'm really surprised the Metallica whiskey wasn't the PBR clear whiskey.
Well, they kind of have a little bit of class. They have to have the air of sophistication.
That's true.
Yeah, they're just putting on a little. It makes it look like it's sophisticated.
Yeah. So anyway, they're coming out with a whiskey that is a high rye bourbon. So typically, bourbon is made from wheat. If you have a rye whiskey, it's made from rye, and if you have an American whiskey, it's a blend of all different kinds of things. Or sorry, corn. Corn is bourbon. So a high rye bourbon would be over 51% corn, and then typically very, very high 40% of rye. So probably like a 40% rye, and then whatever else is in the grain bill. So right away, caught my attention. Everyone says YouTube is fine. So yeah, looks like we're good.
Okay, good.
On 480p still. I am uploading in 1440 tonight, so hopefully it's fine. I did lower it down to 30 FPS to try to get a little bit of, getting that stuttering too. I don't know if I can change. We can try going a little higher on the output. Let me.
Oh, Rambo's gonna drink your beer.
Hey, don't. Demonetized.
It's gonna be a bit of a catastrophe.
Yeah, demonetized right there. Yeah. Let me up the bitrate just slightly, and we'll see if we can hold it. Because actually, OBS is saying 0 frames dropped. Okay. So everything that I'm uploading is getting pushed to YouTube. Okay. It's usually pretty accurate on, am I dropping something or is my upload not enough? So look out, there's a vicious lion on your desk. He actually has a mane to him. Yeah, look at that.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. And definitely has a penchant for beer. Yeah.
So I was drinking some beer the other night, finishing it up, and what did I have in the other video?
The brown sugar.
Yeah, the brown sugar. He was licking the rim of the glass on that one. When I.
Well, that one's a very sweet beer.
It is. Yeah. So, Rami.
Okay.
People get banned on Twitch for less than that.
There you go. You're good.
So, anyway, so they are coming out with a whiskey as we keep getting distracted here.
Aged in tequila.
It spent 6 months in former tequila barrels, which just sounds awesome. So the distiller is FEW Spirits, and they're known for doing a lot of very vintage labels on there. A lot of their labels, I guess, come from the 1893 World Columbian Exposition in Chicago. And they reproduce essentially wood prints that were on display at that World's Fair. So the bourbon is going to be called All Secrets Known, based on the 2009 Alice in Chains song. And they say it tastes nothing like Seattle, but everything like tequila and rye and bourbon and...
Well... I've never tasted Seattle, but I imagine it tastes disgusting. So
I've smelled Seattle.
Anything would probably taste better than Seattle, to be quite honest.
That's true. So yeah, if you can find it, it is going to be available. It is going to be a little bit of a more expensive bottle for the normal hobbyist.
Like $99.
$99 is the average or the estimated retail price on this.
Yeah, but it looks like it's me. California, Colorado, Illinois, New York, and Washington.
Yep.
Of all places. Yeah.
Yep.
And Rambo's back.
Buddy, you can't have my beer, okay? You can snuggle up here. How's that?
Well, Kitty just wants to participate.
Yep. Start a YouTube channel, they said. Get a cat, they said.
You know what? This cat's going to probably boost your viewership by at least 50%.
I hope it does.
Yeah.
I hope he does. All right. So we're still not dropping any frames. So if YouTube is having problems, I think that's going to be all on YouTube, unfortunately. Yeah. So 720p working fine here.
Oh, good.
Like I said, we're uploading 1440, so hopefully you're getting a good quality stream. I sacrificed my 60 FPS in my stream, which I normally have, but follow me on Twitter. There's a whole deal with Comcast going on right now.
There's a super chat from Big Spoon.
Ooh, all right.
And he wants us to pet the cat backwards and boop it. I don't know. That's gonna be a
boop.
There we go.
There you go. I got a boop on the cat.
Yeah.
Thank you, Big Spoon. All right, working fine here. 720p good. Stream cat tax. Yep. What kind of cat is that? This is a Siberian cat.
Yeah.
So he is a long hair cat, very, very fluffy, but he doesn't shed at all.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. I just picked him up on my chest. I don't have a single hair on me.
A lot different than gulag cats.
Yes, much different from gulag cats. That's right. But apparently cat breeders are a thing.
Yeah.
That was news to me, as was the price tag we paid for him.
Okay.
But I guess he's the cat for dog lovers, where he's very, very people affectionate. He's very people dependent. Yeah. Instead of ruling over you, he wants to walk among you.
Yes. So, as we can plainly see.
Yes. So Yeah, he's very friendly, and he will get quite large. Apparently, they average in the 18 to 20 pound mark.
That's a big cat.
So
that's a big cat.
It's a big cat.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big cat. And now it's forever buffering. It still says 0 frames dropped, and I am 100% green.
Yeah, that might be either your local ISP or YouTube or something.
I think YouTube is having some issues.
Yeah.
Because OBS is usually pretty darn accurate. And yeah, people are reporting sometimes 1080p works. Some people are reporting 144p is dropping. So unfortunately, not a lot I can do to help you out there. Just going to have to live with it. Moving right along.
Yep.
You're not much of the guitar player, are you?
No.
Okay.
No.
See, I thought Rhett was going to be on, and I thought Rhett would appreciate this. I knew John would appreciate this.
Of course. No, I mean, I can still appreciate it.
Right.
I mean, the only instrument I grew up playing was the Nintendo, if you want to really consider that one. So, no, I'm not very musically inclined, except for singing. I took choir.
Yep.
I didn't play any instrument except for the kazoo. So, but, growing up in a family that, like John and my brother Mike, they all play guitar. So, I'm familiar with these things.
So you're probably familiar with the guitar pedal. I know John owns a million of them.
Yes.
I've got quite a few of them myself. They're used as to basically enhance the effects of a guitar or add effects to a guitar. If you're not familiar with what a stomp pedal is, there's a new pedal that I need.
Yes.
Now
I saw this as pretty interesting.
Now, unfortunately, it's about 113 pounds. It's a little bit more on the spendy side than my normal pedals. Usually, I like to spend about $70 on a pedal, but this one I might have to splurge on. This one is called the Mini Bar Liquid Analyzer, and what it is it has a little vial inside of it. You add an alcoholic mix, it will analyze the liquid and do a 100% custom effect based on
that,
the liquid analysis.
I'm assuming it's going off of like specific gravity or maybe viscosity or something like that.
Maybe even refraction.
Maybe. I have no idea what
it's measuring. Yeah, it's measuring something in the liquid you put in. But
I mean, I guess in a sense, you'll get a unique sound every single time. But then if you want to repeat that sound, you're kind of screwed because you have to do the exact same mix every single time and hope you get... Oh, should I let the kitty out?
He's probably fine.
Yeah, okay, he's meowing like he wants to be somewhere, so all right.
He's probably all right.
He was meowing at the door, so I don't know if he wanted to get out. But yeah.
He's just mad I won't share my beer.
Yeah.
But anyway, it says it incorporates green analyzing LED to show that a signal is present, a tasty mirrored finish box, and basically you choose your own liquid combination, pour it into the box, and it will generate new effects based on whatever liquid you add to it.
So you add Kool-Aid, you get one effect, and then you add iced tea, you get a different effect.
You add whiskey, you get a different effect.
Yeah, exactly. You can do different type of
beer,
liquids.
stout, mix them together.
Yeah, you can get all kinds of weird effects.
Yep. Yeah, and I want it.
I mean, it sounds like a fun thing to mess around with.
Yeah.
But as like a performance thing, unless you're like, hey, this is some kind of weird funky sound, let's go pour some things in here and see what happens. I can't see how you can get a consistent sound out of the thing.
Yep.
I mean, sounds like fun, but consistency, I don't know.
Yes. Oops.
Oh, my
come
goodness.
on. Flipping.
Sound.
Auto playing.
Yeah, auto play. Oh, this one's off. Okay.
Yep.
I'll even pause this one.
There you go. So, Steve, we've both made beer runs.
Several times.
What's the longest one you've ever made?
I try to make them short.
Yes.
But I think the longest one I ever made...
What's the longest you drove to go get a specific alcohol from somewhere? Not necessarily like, hey, we're out of beer, I'm going to go hit 7-Eleven. Where's the destination that you've driven to go get something?
Well, that's kind of unfair because basically any location that I go to on vacation, I specifically look for a brewery there.
That's true.
Every time I go there. And I found like breweries out in the middle of the Bahamas. I found one in Key West. I found like there's breweries just about anywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess you can say I went across the country to find a brewery.
Yeah.
But I've never gone like I'm specifically going over here just to have beer.
Okay. Let's see. I have done runs that are well over 200 miles, specifically to go purchase alcohol.
Yeah.
Like hop in the car drive 270 miles to the California border because it's a lot cheaper there.
Yes.
And yes, it's actually worth the gas money to do that.
I've done that. We've also gone. We've been to Bend just specifically for the Brewfest over there. We've gone to Bend and that's not too far. I mean,
90,
almost 100 miles or something like that, basically. Just to go specifically to have the beer there. I've done that before.
Yeah.
And I've gone to Seattle a couple times just for the beer that is up in Seattle.
Yeah, I've done that trip as well, which is also about 200 miles.
Yeah.
So apparently, due to the Australian brush fires, there was an operation called Operation Rock Wallaby, pulled off by the NPWS, which is, I guess, the Australian Navy. And they dropped thousands of kilograms of food
for the animals. Right?
For the animals.
Yeah, for the wallabies.
But as part of this, they also loaded up 800 gallons of beer, of beer and cider that were, I'm trying to look for how many kegs they actually delivered. 20 kegs and 4 pallets of prepackaged beer and cider. Over to Malakuta over in Australia earlier this week. Basically, all the supply lines have been shut down for a lot of
course,
Western Australia.
Fire going on over there,
right, and so they literally drove flew all this across the land, air, sea, Navy. Shipped all of this to the other side of the country to quench the thirst of a lot of thirsty Australians.
Oh yeah, probably the firefighters too. I mean, they're completely thirsty.
Yep.
And they're going to need it because that's some scary stuff going on over there.
Yep. After what Malakuta residents and fires have been through, the least we could do is make sure they could enjoy a beer.
Of course.
Said Carlton and United, and also reportedly pledged $1 million to the country's disaster relief efforts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I doubt it's the longest anyone's ever delivered a keg of beer. Yeah, just.
I don't know if the cat wants to go out or not, but he keeps me out.
Come on, buddy.
You want to go? Okay.
Yep, there he goes.
He wants to go. Okay, all right.
He goes, I'm done.
I'm done. He's done.
Text the wife, make sure
Came in there, didn't get the beer he wanted.
Yep.
He just left, so.
So I'm going to say, Cat just left the office angry because I wouldn't share my beer.
There you go.
There we go. So yeah, probably not the longest beer run in world history, but I'm sure it's up there because Australia is quite big.
It is big.
Yeah.
And scary. They got a lot of animals that'll kill you.
So this was in Malakuta, Victoria.
So it looks like it's on the southern
southeastern.
Yeah. Southeastern.
So south of Sydney.
Yeah, it's close to Melbourne and
about 150, 200 miles south of between Sydney and Melbourne. So
is that where all the fires were at? I don't know.
The fires were everywhere.
Okay.
The entire country was on fire at one point.
Yeah.
So,
which is it's really scary because they have a lot of animals that will kill you, right?
Yep.
Like they have just things that will just fall out of the sky and eat you. And their fires killed a lot of the animals. Mm-hmm. So the only animals that survived are the strong animals.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of strong animals that will kill you there. That's all that's left now. Basically, they have koalas that will sneak into your room and kill you because those are the only ones that are left.
Right.
Kangaroos with switchblades will be coming and stabbing you in the middle of Sydney because that's all that's left now.
Little West Side Story Australian style.
Exactly.
All right, that is it for the beer news tonight. It is 8:27. We are 25 minutes in.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not too bad. We have some beer mail to open.
Let's do that.
I'm gonna delay the tech news about another 5 minutes. So if you're here for the tech news, stay tuned. Stay tuned.
We do have some beer.
Yes.
Beer mail to open.
So it came in a great big box, which I'm not going to lift the whole thing. But Craft Computing, enjoy this box of various Minnesota beers. Thank you for all your work on your channel and helping me out with computer projects. And this is from Novella Hub on Discord. One of my patrons, and if you'd like the opportunity to chat with me, chat with Steve, John, Rhett, and the whole community of 150 140.
We have quite a few people on there now, and it's a very active, fun community. I have to say,
very, very active community. Please go over and join the Patreon. Minimum donation of $1. Honestly, give $1 for the entire month. Set up a $1 max. Get access to the Discord. Get on there. Join the community. It's a lot of fun. You can give more if you want, and obviously more is definitely appreciated. It helps fund projects around here. Helps keep my lights on and content coming to you. So if you like the content you see, do consider joining it and like I said, becoming part of the community.
Oh yeah, and Rambo appreciates it too.
He certainly does.
You don't want the cat to starve.
20-pound cat's gonna eat a lot.
They're gonna need some cat food.
Yeah.
Maybe a live GNU or something like that. I don't know.
All right. And I will say the box did not fare too well in shipping. But it's a box within a box.
It looked like it got a little abused by UPS. Oh, we got a crate and barrel box.
Barrel box.
All right.
That's how you know it's a good quality Minnesota beer. There we go. Now, I didn't refrigerate this, so unfortunately we're not going to have to be able to swap out.
Well, next, I'm actually back on next week, so.
Oh, that's right.
So I get to try.
Are you or is it John next week? It's John next week, I thought.
Is it?
Check.
Technically it is John next week. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right.
Unless I poison him, then it will be me.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot in here.
I know, it looks like it.
Okay. So again, huge shout out to Novella Hub.
Yeah.
Oh
wow, look at that. Look at that packaging.
Wabasha Brewing Company. This is jalapeno cream ale.
Oh, okay. So when we were in Vegas...
You just said 3 special words to Steve.
Of course. When we were in Vegas, we wanted to do a kind of a beer kind of short review of the beers that they had in Vegas.
Yes.
We didn't get to do that. We ran out of time.
Yeah.
But we did get to go to Able Baker, which was probably
phenomenal.
The best brewery that they have in Vegas. And they had probably my second favorite pepper beer ever over there. So I'm very excited. I love pepper beers.
Hopstar Session IPA from Fulton.
Oh, okay.
Or made in Fulton, Minnesota, I believe. 4.9%, 39 IBU.
I dig it.
Nice little session ale. I will certainly take that. All right. Chocolate peanut butter porter.
Oh, those are
There we go.
Good. Yeah. We got doubles of each.
Yeah.
Nice.
Chocolate peanut butter porter from Waconia Brewing.
Okay.
Yeah, Waconia, Minnesota.
Was it the same guys right here? But that's Wabasha.
No, that's Wabasha.
Okay.
Yeah.
W's. It's just the W.
All right. Looks like a couple of special pints in here.
All right. Oh, there's a crowler in there too? 2 crowlers maybe? They look like crowlers.
No, they're just really big cans.
Okay.
Holy crap.
The oil can type stuff?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, wow. Look at that. No, they're crowlers. They're crowlers.
Okay, yeah. Shakopee Brew Hall Magic Feather Peanut Butter Porter, 6.8%.
More peanut butter porters.
Yeah. This guy must know me.
I like peanut butter porters.
I like peanut butter porters. Another Shakopee Fuzzy Logic Peach Milkshake IPA.
Oh, nice.
7.2%.
Nice.
There's more in here.
Good Lord. Wow.
The box was 20 pounds.
Novella Hub. Dude, you just above and beyond, man.
I think this is the second largest beer shipment I've received.
Yeah.
So, seriously, thank you.
Yeah.
Surly Brewing Furious IPA.
Okay.
I've had some Surly stuff before, and I don't think I've ever been disappointed. So, Furious IPA.
Nice.
Or Furious IPA.
Furious?
It has is that a squirrel on it? It's weird.
Furious. I think it's Furious.
Pretty sure it's Furious.
Yeah, that's not a squirrel.
Mankato Brewery. Yeah, Mankato Brewery. Real IPA.
It's a real IPA, not a fake one.
Yeah, not
a fake IPA.
Yeah. What kind of dreamy super citrusy bomb is this? Some kind of dreamy super citrus beer, bomb beer. Really a dream inside a dream inside a dream. Oh boy, let's have a beer.
See, the thing I like about, especially when you get IPAs from like the East Coast or the Middle U.S., is all the hops that they put in there are from here.
Yes.
Anyway, so I mean, it's just like
they're Citra, they're Mosaic,
they're all coming from us anyway.
Those are our hops.
Yeah. What they do with them is interesting though. So I mean, that's okay. But it's still like it's our hops.
So,
but yeah, this is a great haul. Actually, this is something to get some phenomenal. Lots of peanut butter porters, which one of my favorite beers I ever made myself was a honey peanut butter porter, and it was phenomenal. Yeah, I've loved them ever since.
Yeah. Magic Feather peanut butter porter. That sounds delicious. Actually, I'm actually kind of interested in the IPA too, the session IPA. Yeah. See what they do with.
Well, you can share that one with John. Yeah. When he comes on next week.
Twice dry hopped with Citra, Mosaic, Amarillo, and Amarillo hops.
We'll hit up the chocolate peanut butter when I come back.
Yeah. Brewed in Minneapolis, right there. All right. Novella Hub. There you go. Thank you so much. Yeah. Much appreciated. All right. Now we can get into a little bit of tech news.
That's right.
So first up, Google is actually going to bring Steam to ChromeOS.
Yeah, this was excuse me. This was I mean, it seems logical, right? Because
it does.
Steam OS is obviously an offshoot of Linux and stuff like that. So bringing Steam to it seems to make sense. Although there's not much power in many Chrome OS powered devices. There's still some small games you can probably run on Steam, so it kind of makes sense.
There's certainly some games you can run on Steam on a Linux-based machine. There's a lot of indie titles, things like Gunpoint and games like that come to mind right away, where they're very, very simple, very low power.
Oh, there's plenty of like low-powered, easy-playing games that are still fun on Steam.
I would also say Steam Remote Play is a possibility. Oh, yeah. This. So get a native Remote Play client on Chrome OS.
Yes, because it's just a thin client then.
Right. Yeah. And so basically, if you want to draw up a competitor to Google Stadia, here's how you do it.
There you go. That's right. You can get a Chromebook with some Steam on there, and then you can just remote into somebody else's machine and play it like a high-powered, nice-looking game.
Big Spoon, $10. Pick one. Shotgun review.
Well, I'm not going to complain if we want to.
I will consider it. Although I am looking forward to both of these.
$10. Yeah.
I am looking forward to both of these.
Maybe towards the end if we finish all of these. Because we have to split this one. This is only 16, so we're going to split this one.
Yeah.
So maybe at the end of the show we will do that.
We'll see. We'll see.
I want to do one of the peanut butter ones.
One of the peanut butters?
Oh, yeah.
Tell you what, I'm going to put one in the freezer.
Okay, let's do that. Let's get it cold. As for you, Big Ben Spoon, we're going to get like a nice cold peanut butter porter.
All right, it's in the freezer.
Yeah. All right.
If you're new to the show, I hope you are enjoying it. It's been a little bit of a scattered one thus far, so we're usually not quite that bad. But no, this is my thought on this is that it would actually bring, like I said, Remote Play over to Chrome OS as an official client, not a web-baked client or anything like that. And honestly, I think it could do quite well in that regard.
I think so too. I mean, just for like some low-powered, easy gaming, remote gaming, like you were saying. Obviously, not something to be like your main battle station, but definitely something for some cheap remote or low-powered gaming.
Google was unwilling to comment on whether or not Nvidia or Qualcomm or AMD or anyone like that is going to be bringing discrete or integrated GPUs to Chromebooks for further 3D acceleration. That certainly could be in the cards.
It could be, yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of these indie titles or card games or a lot of the retro 8-bit graphics that are kind of
low-powered stuff. Yeah,
kind of the flavor right now. A lot of those could run on just a set of integrated graphics on a quad-core Celeron.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got some like God, I have like a really old school IBM PowerBook. Like this is like it used to run like Windows XP.
Yeah.
And it's still, I put Steam on that thing and I could run some old school, like not old school, but like really older simple games on there. No problem. It was fine. So if that can do that, a Chromebook definitely can run some games on there. No problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So interesting development.
Interesting.
There's not a whole lot of details. There's a lot of like, yes, it's coming. We'll say that officially, but we're not going to say much beyond that.
I would think that probably inventive people who are really into hacking OSs and stuff like that probably have already gotten it to work, to be honest.
And honestly, there's not a whole lot of work to do because a lot of the Chromebooks have actually switched over to x86 architecture in the last couple of years. When they first started coming out, a lot of them were ARM-based. A lot of the early Samsungs were ARM-based. The more recent ones have been like the N3350 Celeron quad-core. A lot of the Atom X3, X5 kind of chips. And even on the higher end, we've seen, I believe there was an AMD, not a Ryzen powered APU, but an FX powered APU, like an A8 mobile that came out on one. And there's been a couple other weird ones like that as well. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. But if you're someone who's looking for not a full-blown laptop, but just something to work as a web-integrated replacement machine, and you'd like to play games on the go, maybe Steam on ChromeOS is kind of your answer.
Maybe. Yeah.
Keeps your laptop costs down.
Portable gaming costs down too.
Totally. Yeah, the idea of remote gaming has always kind of intrigued me. Now, I understand the limitations to it because
there's a lot of those.
I work in networking, so latency latency just go away and you can't pretend it's not there.
Yeah, and it's worse depending on where you go and where you're not at, and what's the infrastructure in the area.
I can ping Google right now, so let's just say pinging Google, and Google's everywhere. It's an 18 millisecond ping from my house.
Right.
So to get data there and back, it's 18 milliseconds. It's an 18 millisecond delay, bare minimum, for input to response.
Yes.
Or input to visual. And in the gamer world, we say that sucks.
That does suck. I mean, and like you were saying before, like if you're just sitting at home playing a single player game by yourself that doesn't require a ton of Twitch action, virtual card games, those type of things, even some like older, like not necessarily platformers, but like RPGs, just that are turn based, do not require a big response time.
Even that,
those would be perfect for this.
Right. Even that, when I'm doing benchmarks, oftentimes I will just plug in my computer into a capture card and I will play inside of OBS while I'm doing a recording. The latency on that is horrific.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes upwards of like 50 milliseconds.
Yeah.
Or 50 or 70 or
press the
milliseconds.
button and like, okay, now.
Right. And so trying to get a recording while I'm benchmarking Doom, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Horrible. Yeah.
But as you see from a lot of my benchmarks, I'm not terrible at it.
Yeah.
And you just kind of...
It just seems weird because it's foreign, because you click something and you have to wait a little bit for something to happen. Yeah.
And I mean, we used to play multiplayer on dial-up.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, well, all the games that I played on dial-up back in the old school days were always like turn-based games, so it didn't matter. See,
I played Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2
Oh, see, no.
First-person 3D shooter on dial-up.
I remember playing the original...
Back when like 80 millisecond latency was like, oh my God, it's so fast right now.
No, the original Warlords, the very, very first Warlords, which was a turn-based game, I played that over dial-up through like... I forget what the software was for the dial-up software. It wasn't even... It had to go through ISP and you had to use like the Kermit protocol and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was.
See, I did a lot of direct connect dial.
Yeah, it was direct connect because I think Kermit was direct connect.
Yeah, I did a lot of Warcraft when I was younger.
Yeah, I remember Warcraft, and that was okay because it wasn't like super twitchy, but it could be. I mean, but yeah, this was all turn-based stuff like Civ or Warlords and stuff like that. So that works fine for when you're doing like high latency type stuff.
Yeah.
But if you need any kind of accuracy or any kind of Twitch action. Not great at all.
Yep. Yeah, the 1 millisecond response that a lot of gamers are starting to really get behind. I mean, 144 hertz, it's what, 3 milliseconds between frames?
Oh yeah. Well, we just had that demo with a 360 hertz monitor that was like,
which I guess is 3 milliseconds. Sorry.
Yeah. But that was amazing. I mean, that was like the difference between the two was like astounding.
Startling.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So ZDNet posted a story this week that apparently hackers have leaked a list of over 500,000 server passwords and login credentials, also for routers and IoT devices. And it was shared by the operator of a DDoS service, so like a dynamic denial of service provider.
Right.
Hey, do you want to firebomb Comcast? Here's
Here's a bunch of them,
Yeah. Not that I would look into such services. It's one of the services he offered. Just saying. So when lists like this drop, there's always... I look at it a lot differently typically than a lot of people do, because a lot of people will look at it and go, oh my god, 500,000 devices have been compromised.
That looks a lot. It looks like panic mode, really. I mean, it looks worse.
Yep.
It looks really bad.
In reality, when you start looking at the list, you find out 95% of them are default user credentials that were just never changed.
Yeah.
Where an Internet of Things device calls home to something and opens up a port and then responds to pings or SSH or whatever on that particular port.
Not really much to it.
And here's one. Root and default. That's the username and password. Admin.
Admin, yeah.
Root 12345. User.
Dumb stuff.
Right. Root Hunt 5759.
Well, that's
or Hunter 2, as people know. But I always take a look at these lists and I go, number one, what damage is actually done by these? And it's more embarrassing for the device makers than it is the device owners in those
users.
cases.
Yeah.
However, a compromised device could lead to other compromised devices. Once you get a foot into a network, that's
they can worm their way into other parts.
That's
of
an
your
inlet
network,
to other pieces of your network, especially because a lot of these modern IoT devices are just
the Internet of Things. Yeah. Especially if it's hooked up to your network and your network is not that secure, they can use that as a launching point to burrow into your network.
Yep.
Yeah. So
all these smart bulbs that I have here.
Right. You don't know. They could be like sitting as root default or whatever. You can get to the root of your bulbs and hack them and make them pink for all everybody cares. I don't know.
It's the same combination I have in my luggage. Thank you, John. Admin password is the key to the universe of default enterprise routers and switches. Yep. That's very true. Or any default installed UniFi, UBNT.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. If you type your Google password into chat, it just shows up as asterisks. Yeah, try that.
Drink more.
Isolate VLANs, drink more.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. All my IoT things are on their own isolated VLAN.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So even if somebody does hack it, they're not going to go anywhere.
Oh no, they can hack my other IoT things. They can make my lights turn on and off. And
they can change the colors of your bulbs if they want to.
Yeah, here. Let's change it to red since apparently this is red alert.
There we go. Red alert.
So I always look at what is the actual damage caused by this. What are the devices that they say have been compromised? There's not a lot in this list.
I think the vulnerability are kind of boiled down to maybe 1,300 passwords that were really volatile or dangerous that they need to be changed.
Yeah, of the 515,000.
Yeah. So it's really not that bad. It seems bad on the surface, but in reality, not that bad.
Yep. So, end of the day, change your default usernames and passwords for every device you get and every device you can. And if an IoT device, if a smart home device doesn't let you change the password, don't use it. Or VLAN isolate.
And delete guest accounts. Delete guest accounts.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep. So, yeah. That's that. It's time for another beer.
Yes. You want to do Hop Slam?
Yeah. Of course I do.
I don't think these are big enough. These aren't going to be big.
No, these are 10 ounce.
All right, let's go get some.
My Pilsner glasses should be tall enough.
These ones are here?
Yep. Yeah. Most of my glasses up there are only 10 ounce, unfortunately. They're meant for splitting bombers, not for...
Right. Not for straight up.
Yep.
So these are 12 ounce.
All right. Ooh, nice and cold still. Bill's Brewery in, I believe, Comstock, Michigan.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Ooh, I kind of like this.
Comstock, Michigan. Hop Slam Ale, double IPA, 10%. Smell the hops from here.
Oh. A little too aggressive of a pour there.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
But, man, that foam is delicious.
Baby. Wow. Orange peel?
That is excellent. This reminds me of just the foam. I just tasted the foam, though.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Boneyard's IPAs.
Yeah.
Very much like that.
Yep.
Kind of thick,
this is
viscous, hoppy, citrusy.
And I would hesitate calling this one a Northwest IPA. Obviously, it's brewed in Michigan.
Yeah.
But a lot of the IPAs that are out there are Northwest style or West Coast style, a la Stone, Lagunitas, etc. Mm-hmm. This one has, like I said, there's like an orange peel aroma to it.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a couple other things that are not your traditional IPA markers that I'm kind of digging already just on the nose.
I'm going to say like almost like a candied orange peel.
Yeah. Look at that.
Just the foam itself is absolutely delicious. I have to say.
Beat that for a pour.
Like when we had the Two Hearted and we had, what was the other one that we had that was like a common IPA? I can't remember. I was completely disappointed in both of them.
Yes.
This one so far is not disappointing. Hop Slam is another one that has been touted as being a great IPA that I never got to try. Now that I'm trying it, it kind of lives up to the hype a little bit, I have to say.
Just the foam is delicious.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm right.
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. It's very good. Yeah, back in the day, you had to line up for Hop Slam.
Oh wow, that is.
And be there when local bottle shops. Yeah, so I mean that was the same thing with Pliny the Elder. I mean, you had to like line up to get some Pliny the Elder, but now you can just
it's showing up in grocery stores. Same thing with Dragon's Milk to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Bourbon County Stouts too. You used
to
have to line up for
Well, I mean, there's still some people that will line up when the bottle first releases.
And there's the rare releases too.
Yeah, they still do that.
There's the blue, the gold, the different labels on them, but yeah, their standard releases and nationwide. You can pick it up in almost every grocery store.
No, this is very good. I'm kind of surprised.
Candied orange, maybe a little rhubarb.
Yeah, the tart rhubarb.
Yeah.
I get that in the back end.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's very good. I'm really impressed with it. Actually.
Sean,
very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm really enjoying it.
Not only that, I love it when we can drink for free on the show.
Oh, yeah.
I've told this a couple of times, but I asked Steve, Rhett, and John if they wanted to be on a live show once a week with me. And I said, John lives the closest, and he's the one who's most into the beer and always has some interesting beers and whatnot. And so I said, John, if you can be on twice a week, and then the other two can just be on like once a month. Or every other week, rather. The other two can be on once a month. And all three of them, without hesitation, said, okay,
let's do
what beer do you want me to bring?
Well, every time I'm on, I always bring something nice.
I even feel guilty because I never offered to pay.
No, it's fine.
They're just like, yeah, I'll come on your live show. I'll do this. I'll commit a full evening once a month, or in John's case, twice a month. What expensive beers can I bring to enjoy?
I think you're kind of regretting now that John's bringing like the seltzer stuff. This Bud Light seltzer and the Mad Dog 20 or the MD 2020.
You have to take the good with the bad. Yeah, John says, good. Now I can have my have a canned review on my awesome beer channel, Hops and Brews. Make sure to like and subscribe. Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Yeah.
John, I would be honored if you would review the Hop Slam.
You could review the Hop, but I think it's probably been reviewed by so many people. It's like one of those staples out there that everybody's done. I mean, I guess he can do it. It's a great beer.
When are you going to do a Talking Heads with everyone on again? Live shows with a lot of people are actually much more difficult to plan, to organize. I am amazed at how well our Vegas live show went.
That was actually a lot of fun. That was probably my favorite stream we've ever done.
That was absolutely my favorite stream we've ever done.
Yeah.
And it was really weird because there were 4 people in a room who we had spent 3 days without him at that point. We picked him up from the airport on Sunday, and we'd spent a couple days at CES with him. Jason, we met, and we spent about an hour at a brewery with him on what was it, Monday night?
Yeah, we went to Able Baker.
Yeah, they're at Able Baker Brewery. That was only the second time I'd been in the same room with Bite My Bits, and honestly, how well we meshed, we bounced off each other.
We did really good. Yeah,
we didn't talk over each other. The conversation ebbed and flowed. It was one of if not the favorite live stream I've ever done.
It kind of just all worked out.
Yeah,
like without any kind of like pre-thought or anything. We kind of just were like, okay, let's talk about CES, and let's hope this works.
Right.
And it did. It worked pretty good.
And we kind of meandered down a path, and then I'd kind of go, okay, let's get back over here. Let's go this way. Okay, let's go down this path now.
Yeah.
So it was absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, streams with more than like 2 people tend to be a little bit more difficult.
You know, I think, and I'm just saying this because I think that one went so well is because we didn't know each other as well.
Yes.
And then when we have streams with me, you, Rhett, and John, because we know each other so well, we tend to talk over each other a lot.
Yeah, it becomes a lot of inside jokes. It becomes a lot of a lot of back and forth and a lot of talking over each other to get your point across.
Right. So when it's people who are we're kind of familiar with each other and we kind of have the same interests, I think it kind of works out a little bit better because we kind of like sit there and listen to the other person and then wait and then we give our own comment.
Totally agree.
It works a lot better.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
So if we're gonna have anybody like Epox Fox on again, we can't get to know him.
Epox Fox?
Epos. No pox.
Epos Fox.
Like epox.
Yeah.
Like in the plague.
Yes.
Sorry, Adam.
Yep.
Epos.
Epox on the...
Epox Fox.
Big Spoon, loved the Vegas stream, $10 donation.
It was great. It was fun.
Honestly, that was the most fun I've had at CES, hands down. It was probably my favorite live stream, hands down. But we will do the multi-person live streams probably at least a couple times a year. The last couple years we've done an anniversary show.
Yeah.
So this is actually we're entering our 3rd year doing the live
We're going to do another anniversary one?
Yeah, that's in August.
Yeah.
So I guess we did one anniversary show. We've done one end of year show where we had everyone on. Yeah. I think I did a live show at the 100K with everyone on. Yeah. So we'll do 1 or 2 a year. And of course, every year at CES, I think it's going to be tradition to get a couple of people on the show.
I think so too. Yeah.
And have fun with it. So. All right, moving right along.
Let's go on with some tech news.
A little bit of Intel news. So the first article, unfortunately, I didn't get the right article, so I'm gonna have
that one right there.
No, that one. Yep.
Okay. There we go.
I didn't copy my links over here.
Oh, okay.
So originally I found these on DigiTimes and I read them on mobile and they read on mobile and then I opened them on desktop and it says, sorry, you have to log in to read these on desktop. I went,
why?
DigiTimes?
No.
So yeah, I found both of these in my Google News stream. I wake up every morning and I'll just cycle through whatever Google recommends me for news. And I read both these articles and that's great. Yeah. Let's have them on the show. And so I just copied them to Drive from my phone right there. And then I got to the desktop and went, I can't read them now.
Yep.
I think we should do another stream from a vendor suite. The first year in the iBuyPower suite was pretty cool. I do agree with that. However, that also adds a layer of complication because I don't know what's going to be set up there. The first year getting it all set up, plus getting beer to that site after I had been walking around all day, that was its own headache. Whereas this year we were able to go back to a hotel room and kind of have a couple of minutes to at least compose our thoughts.
I mean, to be fair, that suite that Adam had was pretty dang nice.
I'm probably going to rent that suite next year.
Yeah, that was, and South Point is affordable enough we can do that.
Yes.
It's like we're not going to get a giant suite at the top of like Caesar's Palace
or even Excelsior or Mandalay or something like that.
But like South Point, yeah, of course, it's a nice enough place. I mean, it was totally fine.
SW, cheers. Glad USPS didn't destroy the Hop Slam. Enjoy. Wow. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, yeah.
It's delicious, and I didn't open it on stream, but I did give you a shout out. I don't know if you were watching earlier on the show. But
it's quite good.
But Sean, thank you so much. I am definitely enjoying this one.
It is very, very good.
And USPS was quite kind with your box, less kind with Novell Hub's box.
But hey, it all came through, so whatever.
Yep, it's all here.
Yeah, it's all here.
That's all that matters.
All in one piece.
So, anyway, so Intel is in the news again, and I kind of made light of this in the top of the comment of Intel's lousy year, and we mean the one that's coming up.
Yes, this year.
Because Intel has still been posting like record profits and record shipments and things like that, but they've also been saying, we can't keep up with AMD. We're still on 14 nanometer.
Yeah.
We're running out of chips.
Yep.
Because we're still on 14 nanometer. Yeah. And the list goes on and on.
Oh, yeah. And so to stay ahead of the curve, what do they got to do? Slash prices.
They have to play AMD's role in all of this. And it is not the usual position for Intel to be in. In fact, I don't know that Intel has ever been in the we need to slash our prices to remain competitive.
They're always like, we're on top, therefore we're the premium price.
Yep.
You have to pay premium to get us.
Right. For 32 of the last 35 years, Intel has been the dominant chip maker.
Of course, yes, they have been.
We've reached a turning point this last year where it looks like Intel is going to give up the throne for a number of years consecutively.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be that way.
If you remember back to 2002, or was it? No, it was 1999 that Intel lost the 1 gigahertz race to AMD.
Oh, right.
AMD beat them to 1 gigahertz. I believe it was August 1999.
Yes, yeah. The Pentium 1 gigahertz.
Right. But from 1997 to 1999, we went from 233 megahertz to 1 gigahertz. Mm-hmm. So if you think of that on a scale, we literally quadrupled our processing power, if not more than that, because we also shrank a die size in between there as well. So we more than quadrupled the processing power in about 24 months' time, almost day to day. And we haven't seen that kind of growth since then. There's been some pretty large jumps in processing technology. There was the Core 2 to i7 with the Nehalem launch with the X58.
Yep, that was a big.
That was a massive leap forward. There was AMD Athlon coming out in 2003 and kind of putting the Pentium 4 in its place for a couple of months there.
Yes, they did.
Until Intel came out with the Extreme Edition, which was again $1,000 processor.
It was a big, expensive processor.
Good lord, that thing was a beast.
Yeah.
And then really the only that's really it.
Yeah,
it's
just been building.
Then 2007 with kind of like the dual core battle in which AMD was kind of relevant with the X2 for about a year.
That was pretty short lived.
It was pretty short lived. Yeah. But like I said, for like 32 of the last 35 years, Intel has been the dominant chip maker. They are not the dominant chip maker today,
and it's starting to reflect in like the cases and the laptops that people are putting out. No longer just Intel. You have the option to get AMD in your laptops.
It's starting to reflect in the motherboards. Look at the X370 chipset when it came out, and even the early Threadripper boards when they came out. They were kind of like, we're going to deliver something, but it's going to be like a $170 board at like the very most. Whereas, you know, the Z170 board, oh heck yeah, that we're going to pump out $300 and $400 Z170 boards with overbuilt VRMs and built for overclocking and everything else. You do that when there's a dominant chip maker on the market, and people will pay that enthusiast price tag. Look at the market now with X570. All of a sudden, the cheapest X570 board is only $160, whereas the premium ones are $300, $400, and $500 sometimes. Look at X299 as the prices have kind of slowly shifted down on that, and the TRX40 boards are kind of shifting upwards. This is all reflection of what the market is demanding, and the market right now is demanding better AMD components to support the better chip that's on the market right now, which is AMD. So shotgun the Crowler. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
No, not tonight.
Not with a 10% in our bellies and one more coming up.
One more coming up. Yeah, so. 2 10%ers. We've got. We're gonna split that one. For sure.
So the news today, though, is that Intel will basically do the same thing with their consumer level chips as they just did with their high-end desktop chips. We've talked about this before on the show. Remember the 9980XE, which was an $1,800 processor? All of a sudden, you know, a year after that launch, they come out with the 10980XE, and the price tag on it is $999.
Yep, went down.
It's almost 50% off.
Yep, almost.
And everyone goes, wow, they refined their manufacturing techniques. No, they were screwing you over for generations upon generations.
Yes. And they knew it. And they knew it, too.
Yep.
I mean, like, even back then, everybody had the inkling that they were doing that. Now this is pretty much guaranteed proof that they were doing that.
Yes. Yeah. They didn't drop the price of the processor in half by keeping the chip literally identical to the predecessor.
Yeah.
It is literally identical in every way, shape, and form.
I mean, I always understand there's some R&D process going on with manufacturing the fab and everything like that, but I mean, for the most part...
My wife is raiding my liquor cabinet.
Yeah, what's she looking
I want grenadine.
It's in the fridge.
Grenadine. Oh. Grenadine. There you go.
There you go.
Just chug that straight up.
Yeah.
Just take a big old swig of the grenadine.
And my chair has the same problem that your chair did a couple weeks ago. I just broke the wheel off.
Oh, the little wheel came off?
Yeah, the collar just broke out.
Oh my gosh. You want me to take a swig of this? Oh no, you just want me to open it. I'll take a swig of it. Oh no, just joking. Here you go.
Add some to your hop slam.
Yeah.
Peanut butter jelly time.
Peanut butter jelly time.
What did Intel do with all that sweet R&D money? 5G, I'm guessing.
Probably went to the CEO's new yacht.
Good chance of it.
Yeah.
Have you seen that thing? Amazing.
Yeah.
Up there on the Columbia.
Oh
yeah. Executive producer taking executive privilege over the grenadine. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. Did you see my bottle of grenadine?
It's big. I have one of those too.
Yeah.
I don't use that much grenadine at home.
I use enough of it.
Oh yeah. So I know like my nieces and nephews love Shirley Temples.
Yes.
And so I use that for that. But that's about it.
Yeah, my girls see me mix drinks. And they
Right.
go,
And then
can I have a mixed drink?
I'll make you a Shirley Temple. Yeah.
Shirley
of course.
Temple
I love it.
or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little 7-Up grenadine.
Little orange juice, pineapple juice, little grenadine on top.
Yeah.
Makes a nice little
Yeah.
sweet.
It makes it look cool too. It's
Yeah.
like little layers and stuff
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, we know Intel's been fleecing at least the high-end market for years. Well, apparently they've probably been doing the same thing with the mid-tier market, to the surprise of no one.
Yeah.
So with the release of possibly another wave of 14-nanometer processors before Ice Lake, Comet Lake, whatever the bloody hell they're going to call it this time, gets here, there's probably going to be a massive price drop.
I would think so.
In their
yeah.
i3, i5, i7 line.
Well, to stay competitive, they're going to have to. Really.
We have a 9900K. It's $499. Oh, that's cute. We have an 8-core processor that beats it for $329.
Yeah. They're going to have to drop those
Right.
down to something at least competitive.
Yep. If not undercut entirely.
They might. I mean, I don't know how much reserve they have. I mean, they could be at the level of like Nintendo, where like Nintendo could have like flop after flop and still stay afloat for years to come because they just have a giant reserve. They're floating on a giant reserve of money. Right.
Intel overpricing their CPUs.
Oh, yeah. Who would have thought?
Yeah. Tech Baron cameras and more. Yo, what's up, dudes? Yo.
What's up?
Intel is building a new fab in Hillsboro as well. Yep.
Yeah, they are.
Yep, they broke ground on it.
Yeah.
What was it, last July or something like that?
Yeah, they're still working on it.
Yeah.
I've heard of several people because I know I have lots of friends in the construction business, and they told me several times I've been out to Hillsboro for that.
Yep. So yeah, expect some price drops on some Intel CPUs in the next couple of months probably. Now they're not going to drop 9900K, but 10900K maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Yep, which is still the same processor. And if that wasn't bad news enough for Intel investors,
Right.
Intel has warned HP of Xeon processor shortages through the whole of 2020.
Right.
So Intel didn't admit to this, but HP in an earnings call said we're going to have to switch gears over to AMD for a lot of our resources, a lot of our servers, and this is
Because
HP
we're
Enterprise.
running low on
Because Intel can't provide us enough Xeon processors to fulfill our demand.
Yeah.
So...
Bad news for Intel, good news for AMD.
Yes, again.
And I think it's actually really good news for the consumer because in the very end, it creates better competition.
Right.
It makes Intel try a little bit harder, and then it's going to make the market more competitive, and then make prices go down.
Although this is all
Hopefully.
hoping that AMD can keep up with the demand as well as TSMC
That's true.
can produce
That's true.
the fabs fast enough.
We could have a shortage all around the board, which would be bad for everybody.
Right.
But it doesn't look like that right now, but who knows?
Yep.
They could be keeping their cards close.
So I'm not going to mention who, but there was a person that we spent a little bit of time with at CES who covers tech.
Oh yes, I know who you're talking about.
And he asked Lisa Su, CEO of AMD,
I know exactly who you're talking about.
What is the supply chain like today for AMD fabs, for chiplets, IO dies, etc.
Yep.
And my favorite quote that you can take completely out of context is Lisa Su said one word: tight.
Tight, yeah. I do remember that.
So at any point, you could just say tight, Lisa Sue.
Yeah.
But yeah, the constraints on AMD's side, they're not nearly as constrained, but they're still not reveling in their superiority. Yeah. AMD supplies are still tight as well.
Yeah.
Now AMD kind of has the advantage, we've talked about this a couple of times, of they're not producing that many different dies.
Well, but it also gives them a chance to infiltrate the market a bit more, because as Intel's supply goes down and AMD's market share goes up and they have a better supply, they can kind of fill that gap. Maybe. There we go.
Skull guessed it. Had to give him props.
Yeah. That's exactly who it was from, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Not going to name any names, but yeah, a gentleman we spent a good deal of time talking to said, Dr. Lisa Sue, tight.
Yeah.
So, anyway, AMD is not exactly like rolling in their fabs either. Their supply chain is still a little constrained, more constrained than they would like it to be. So
yeah, they would be in a much better position if it wasn't, but that's not the case right now. So
yeah, don't expect that supply chain to loosen up anytime soon. From either of them.
Yeah,
but especially from Intel.
But the Hop Slam chain is working great right now. This is delicious.
This is fantastic.
I like this one.
I'm digging this one. If this is what Two Hearted was, just like 3% lower.
I know.
Oh, hell yeah.
I know. I was super disappointed in Two Hearted.
Yeah.
This one I'm really impressed with.
I am not disappointed at all. It is definitely a double IPA.
Yeah.
It is definitely boozy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can taste it on it,
but not overly boozy.
Yeah. And it also has some very unique flavor profiles inside of it. Like I said, the orange, a little bit of rhubarb tartness, the
candied orange type of a thing.
It's candied. It's almost a little bit creamy in the mouthfeel, which is very unusual for a very clear IPA.
Yeah. Like I said, it's very close to like Boneyard. Like Boneyard, they put their hop venom or something like that.
Yeah.
That type of a beer, but a little bit more pronounced. Than
right, but it's also not a juicy IPA.
No,
it's not this, and it's not a hazy. It's not acidic. It's not. It's very unique. It stands out, and it's just fantastic.
It's a delicious beer.
Yep.
Yeah, obviously.
Yep.
Okay. Speaking of new and unique, I guess I don't know. I don't do the transitions.
That's
like
a good
John
one.
Does. Yeah. All right. Let's try it.
That's perfect.
Try it.
That's perfect. I was leaving it open, seeing if you would take the bait.
I'll try a little hard next time. So, next up we have
Nvidia news.
Nvidia big news.
Nvidia news. So last week we announced that it was rumored that Nvidia would be coming out with the RTX 3000 series probably sometime around May. So Computex with a June release. This time we have some leaked specs. Now, I'm taking these specs with a huge grain of salt.
Huge grain of salt.
Number one. I do believe they are accurate in some regards. With the ampere, whatever you want to call it.
They seem to make sense. Some of them are a little fanciful.
Some of them make sense with the GA 103 and 104.
Yep.
Traditionally, the 80 and the 70 series share a die.
Yep.
So I'm not sure why. Well, let's just go through the specs.
Yeah.
So they're basically saying the GA 103 is going to be the RTX 3080.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to come packed with 10 or 20 gigabytes of GDDR6, red flag number one.
Mm-hmm.
320-bit memory interface, that's perfectly fine. 60 SMs and 3480 stream processors, which sounds probably right about right. Because I think they're at 3210 or 3180 or something like that.
Something like that.
Right.
So
a little bit of a bump, a little bit of a bigger die.
Which you'd want to see with the next Revolution cars by that. Yeah.
Right, exactly. The GA 104 is now going to belong to the RTX 3070 instead of sharing the 103 core with the RTX 3080. It is going to have either 8 or 16 gigabytes of GDDR6. Again, a little bit of a red flag.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right to me.
It doesn't seem right.
Because that's never happened before in the past with NVIDIA's cards.
A stripped-down memory bus, which doesn't seim right.
Yeah.
Down to 256, down from 320. 48 SMs and 372 stream processors, which sounds relatively on par. Right. So here's the things that I like. I think the GA103 core is likely going to support the RTX 3080. However, I think it's going to be a split core with the RTX 3070. I think we will see 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 on those two cards. Mm-hmm. End of discussion. There's not going to be a 16 gig option. There's not going to be a 10 or a 20 gig bump. That's stupid. I don't know why they would exist.
It doesn't make much sense why they would offer a 16 gig card and they would have a higher option with a 10 gig card.
Yes,
it doesn't make much sense at all.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
This rumor makes no sense as far as what Nvidia has done in the past. Yeah. What I do believe is there will be an RTX 3080 Ti and a new Titan card, and those will likely have some higher memory.
Yes, I believe that. I would believe that, yes.
And so if you want to look at a 16 gig Titan card or maybe even a 20 gig Titan card.
I would believe a 20 gig Titan card or a 20 gig 3080 Ti would exist.
Right.
That seems to make sense.
Right, because we've seen 24 gig cards before in what was it, the Volta?
Yeah.
It was a 24 gig card.
Yeah.
We've seen them before. It's not unheard of.
It's not out of the wheelhouse. It could be done.
On the professional level cards.
Right.
On the consumer level cards, I'm sorry, GDDR6 is still quite expensive.
Very expensive.
And even if you're charging $800 for that RTX 3080, it ain't going to have no 16 gigs of GDDR6.
No.
I'm sorry. It's just not. The Radeon 7 was kind of an anomaly at $799 with 16 gigabytes of HBM2. But we also know it didn't have the processing power that they're expecting the RTX 3080 to come out with. If I'm wrong, I'm thrilled because I could always use some more video memory.
Who doesn't want that more?
Right.
Yeah.
But call me skeptical. I'm fully on board the skeptic train on some of these rumors. Now, I do believe both cards will have 8 gigabytes of GDDR6. It'll probably be a little bit faster than we currently have. Maybe a 12,500.
It's your normal step up from the current generation.
A little bit faster, a little bit more refined. I am anticipating a pretty large leap forward from the current generation Turing cards. Probably more so than a lot of people are.
I'm a little skeptical on that, per se, because it seems like in the past, there was usually a two-step generation, and then there was a revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with NVIDIA cards. They usually had, even with the previous ones...
So you're just going back to Fermi.
I am. I'm just... I understand that there's, because this cycle seems to be shorter than previous cycles.
Yeah.
We're only
See, you're back in the 6600 GT was an amazeballs card.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
And then you've got the 7900 or the 7950, and then all of a sudden the 8800 came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, out of nowhere, it was just blew everything away. Yeah, exactly. But that was two generations. It
took
2 generations to get to there. And we're at the mid-tier generation. So I think this next generation is going to be a step up, obviously, but it's not going to be an extreme revolution. I don't think, because it's very, very quick turnaround. It's only a year after the 2000 RTX 2000s, so I don't think it's going to be a big one, personally.
But it's been almost 4.5 years since Pascal came out. It'll be almost 5 years since Pascal.
That's true.
There's been a huge amount of time because AMD wasn't around to compete with.
But here's the thing: I think that the RTX architecture that came out was supposed to be the big revolution. I think it was supposed to be.
I don't think so. I've been on record, and I think I said this last week.
You did, and I don't remember what you were saying about it.
That Turing was not the revelation. Turing was a stopgap to get down to 7 nanometers so they could start producing Ampere GPUs. Because all the rumors that we read a year ago said Ampere is coming out, and then all of a sudden it shifted and go, oh, they're going to be Turing cards, and they're going to be 2000 instead of 1100 series, and they're going to be this and they're going to be that.
Right.
And so I think Turing was a stopgap until they could get their fabs refined or get their process refined.
And I might be wrong. And you're right. This is just rumored specs.
Totally.
Rumored specs.
Totally.
Obviously. And it could be the big revolution that we're waiting for. Mm-hmm. We just have to wait and see. And this is just the first I've ever even seen any kind of speculated specs for these new cards. So we didn't even get any inkling of this when we were at CES. Not even a touch of it. This is Brent's making new rumors.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Nvidia brought out some studio laptops, and they brought out the 360 hertz displays, which was kind of in collaboration with some other people, although you can't even run 1440p at 360 hertz over a DisplayPort 1.4.
Yeah.
It requires HDMI 2.1, which no card has HDMI 2.1.
Right.
So the fact that they were announcing 360 hertz displays, and they had a 1440p model there, kind of makes me think that they might be coming out with some 3000 series cards that have HDMI 2.1 to be able to support the new
Makes
monitor.
sense forward thinking, obviously. Makes sense, yeah.
Or maybe it was a 1080p monitor. It might have been 1080p 360 that HDMI 2.1
We didn't really ask them what the resolution was, but I think it was...
I think they were all 1080p.
I think they were all 1080p, too.
But yeah, I think Ampere is going to be a larger leap forward than some other people do.
Okay.
Especially if the rumors about AMD coming out with Navi 21, Big Navi, sometime around the same time, turn out to be true.
Yeah.
I think this could be a huge year in GPU competition. Number one, driving price down, but number two, giving consumers choice across the board. Right now, there's choice in the... you're still on the RX 580 back in the $199 price point, and the sub $150 price point, it's the RX 570. But there's also the 1650, which kind of hangs, or 1650 Super, which kind of hangs right on that $150 price point, which draws half the power of the RX 570.
Yeah, we're in the kind of middle range where they're starting to release those mid-tier cards that have the right price to performance ratio. This is they did last year. They did the big. There's the new technology. We have the big cards. The enthusiasts all buy those up.
Right.
Now we're in the year of
kind of we'll throw this out.
We're gonna make some mid-range affordable cards for everybody to enjoy. We have this new technology. You can enjoy it now. It's like affordable now.
And we got a little bit of that competition this week with the 5600 XT launch, coupled with the RTX 2060 price drop down to $299.
Yep.
They're right neck and neck now. Now a lot of people are going, well, the 5600 XT is the obvious buy because it kills the 5700. I don't think it does. And it's far and away better than the RTX 2060. I don't think it is.
No. They're pretty close.
You're $279 on the 5600 XT, and it's a great card. It's a fantastic card. All the reviews that I read were pretty much nothing but glowing on it. I've personally reviewed a couple different RTX 2060s. I think the RTX 2060 is still a great card, and if you need some more advanced features out of it, like maybe you like the ray tracing features on a couple specific games. It gives you ray tracing for $300.
Not that many. I mean,
not that many, but it's a thing that people like eye candy. Maybe it's there.
I do find actually more fascinating than the newer games that are coming out. Like you get your Battlefield 5s and your Tomb Raiders that have ray tracing enabled to. I really appreciate them going backwards in time.
Quake 2.
The Quake 2. They're putting because you can honestly see the benefit of what ray tracing really does and those type of things, because you remember what those things look like and how much better they look just with a ray tracing patch to it. I think Microsoft's going to be doing a ray tracing patch for Minecraft too as well, which should make it just look phenomenal. And I'm honestly looking forward to it because I went and played through the Quake RTX demo, and I thought it was phenomenal. I thought they did a really, really good job. And
but not only that, for the $299 price point, a lot of people are going, well, the 5600 XT is the only obvious choice that you can make at $279. At $299, you're also getting the RTX 2060 which does have RTX cores. So I'll give you that. But it also has the new NVINC chip for Nvidia, which if you're a game streamer or a content creator or an encoder or a video editor, that is far and away a better deal than the 5600 XT, which has to rely on AMD's hardware encoding, which is famously not nearly as good as Nvidia's. And so saying that it's a black and white choice, I don't think tells the full story. I'm sure if People's Vox was watching, he'd probably back me up on that.
Probably.
There's two sides to that coin.
He's the big streamer guy, so he would know.
So there's two sides to that coin, but in the end, it's competition and we win because there's choice at that price point right now. But I believe we're gonna get competition in the $400 to $700 range from AMD. I believe it's going to be relevant competition, and it's going to drive pricing down. Because pricing the last couple of years after the Ethereum boom kind of started going up. Yeah. And Nvidia and AMD both kind of realized that, hey, people were willing to pay $700 for a graphic card. Why aren't we selling $700 graphics cards?
I know.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. All right. Cat dander.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, RTX 3080, 3070, likely coming with a Computex announcement. Likely an early June launch is all the rumors that I've been hearing. Hopefully we'll have one for you on release day.
I'm thinking it's kind of an interesting. Well, they decided to do it a Computex release instead of a CES release. I mean,
do you think mainstream GPU mining is dead for good? I believe as long as people are doing the what is it, ASIC mining, the purpose-built GPU miners, or the purpose-built mining devices.
mm-hmm.
I think GPU mining is dead for the moment.
For the moment, definitely.
It was kind of like a 4-year flash in the pan where it kind of made sense. I don't think it makes sense for really anyone anymore.
Obviously, because no one's even doing it really.
Right. And as Nuke Censorship says, it is in China. It is dead in China because that's why all of a sudden we're getting RX 470s for $40 a piece.
Yeah.
Is because they go, we can't run these anymore. They don't do us any good.
Get rid of them. Let's get some money out of them.
Ubuntu. You ever use Ubuntu?
No, actually. I installed it once in one of my devices,
Ubuntu. You ever use Ubuntu?
Yes, I used it once.
As someone's gonna say, you're saying Ubuntu wrong.
It's
Ubuntu.
Was back in the day, I was more of a Red Hat type of guy, but now more Mint, Linux Mint is what I use.
I like Mint.
Yeah, Mint's good.
Yeah.
But not a
Antminer, ASIC miners. Yes, thank you.
Not a big Ubuntu guy.
I've used it from time to time. I use Ubuntu Server a lot of times for a lot of my deployments. I think it's one of the most robust, shell only servers that's on the market. It's lightweight. It installs easily. All the packages are right there, easy to install. They're all in their apt repository. I think it's one of the more user friendly.
It's probably the most developed,
and it's probably the most developed, and one of the most stable.
Oh yeah, and it's one of those that you can honestly just download the ISO, put on a USB drive, and install it, and it's just as stable of an installation as Windows is.
Right.
Pretty close to it.
Right.
And enough of a familiar interface that normal users would be like, oh yeah, I know this. Right. They can get around with it.
Yeah, but I use the Ubuntu server quite a bit, both at home and professionally. I've used it for a multitude of things. A lot of people try to use CentOS. I like CentOS, but I also don't like CentOS. There's a lot... it reminds me a lot of Arch, where not everything is baked in, and if you want to add a component, you have to add 30 other components to get it to work. And the language to me just isn't quite as ubiquitous, and how you set up certain things just isn't quite as familiar as it is to me on a Debian-based OS.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I like Ubuntu, so sue me.
That's fine.
I use Pop! OS as a GUI anymore. I really like what Pop! OS is doing. But if you've ever used the Ubuntu and their GNOME shell, or whatever the new shell is called, I don't think it's GNOME anymore. But if you've installed Ubuntu sometime in the last about 10 to 12 years, starting all the way back with version 12.10.
So they had a bunch of pre-installed here.
You've noticed that there's an out-of-the-box icon to take you to the Amazon website.
Yeah. And that was like...
It was a built-in app.
It was always like a weird thing that was just sitting there. It's like, why is this weird piece of built-in software in my open source OS?
Right.
Weird.
Here's your open source OS with no bloatware. By the way, here's a link to Amazon.
Yeah, here you go.
So apparently enough people finally complained about it that as of Ubuntu 20.04, Focal Fossa will not include the Amazon Web Launcher anymore. And in fact, you could also it also drops the dependency for it, which is the Ubuntu Web Launcher in the apt repository. So that is no longer pre-installed either.
Okay, so if you want an app launcher, you have to install it yourself.
A web application launcher.
Yeah, that's the
yeah, exactly. So yeah, if you want things like that, you can certainly install them yourself. I know there's a whole bunch of different applications for that.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything command line is enabled in any kind of Linux style.
Big Bing Spoon. Beers are being nursed. Yeah, but it's a higher ABV per minute than anything
this
Bite My Bits ever does.
This is a 10%. This ain't no Bud Light Orange.
Right.
Which you can chug like water.
Right.
Because you kind of have to because it tastes like garbage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called Unity now. Thank you, Regan. I knew it wasn't Gnome anymore, but it's Unity.
Okay, good. There you
Unity as of, it's 1804, right?
Yeah.
I think they went to Unity.
I
retired it in 1710.
I don't follow Ubuntu that much. So.
Yeah. Might have been 1704 was Unity. I don't remember when they switched over entirely, but yeah. But yeah, as far as like amount of ethanol per minute, we're still winning.
We're still pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got a half hour left and a full stout to
we
get
still
through,
yeah so. We still have another 10% stout to go through, and I'm getting there.
Mm-hmm.
We're all getting there. Oh yeah.
One person says it was for affiliate codes, and it may have been automatic affiliate link to go to the Amazon web store. So you buy something from Amazon and
it went through affiliate
and Canonical gets a cut.
Yeah, maybe.
It certainly could have been. I don't know that to be true. I'm saying what was in chat. And yeah, someone said the Amazon link could be gotten rid of very easily. Yeah, I usually just drag it into trash.
Yeah, you can do it.
And off you go. Some nurses need beers. That's right. Some beers need nursing, especially 10%. Thank you, nice.
No, of course. Like a 10% beer, you kind of got to nurse that thing.
Yeah.
I got to drive home.
Yeah, exactly. Questionable. I tested it once and confirmed it is an affiliate link. And that wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm considering releasing my own distribution so you can have an automatic link to craft computing on your desktop.
Of course.
So it's called enjoying the beer, something you can't do with Bud Light Orange. Exactly.
Of course.
And also, I don't mind letting this beer warm up because it's not Bud Light Orange.
Right. You let a Bud Light Orange warm up, it's going to taste like garbage disposal orange. It's just natural. That's what would happen.
Yep. So anyway, one of the most complained about things likely on Ubuntu.
Ubuntu is gone now.
On Ubuntu.
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 It was easily removed, but now it's gone entirely.
That's gone. It's
as of 20.04.
Now you don't even have to bother dragging and dropping.
Yep.
It's gone.
Yeah. I wish it was Focal Ferret, although they already used Ferret for...
Oh, Focal Ferret?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Focal Ferret. That sounds like a way better name.
All right. Now this one, I have not read a dang thing about. I have no idea what this is.
This one is... You haven't seen the Barnacle before?
I didn't. I know.
So the Barnacle is a replacement to the boot.
Okay. I have not even heard about it.
So you know what a car boot is?
Yeah, of course. You put that on yours so you can't drive away. All right.
Right.
So this is supposed to be a replacement to that where it puts it on your windshield so you can't look to see where you're driving. Okay, I get it.
So this is out of the University of Oklahoma.
Okay.
The University of Oklahoma recently announced that they were going to be trialing a new parking enforcement measure.
Okay.
Called the Barnacle. Now the Barnacle, they made some announcement of it maybe 6 months ago, maybe 4 months ago. It wasn't all that long ago. I remember reading about it, and I remember Barnacles Nerdgasm got tagged quite a bit because it's like, oh, they're putting you on a car. Oh. But it's called the Barnacle.
Okay, I get why it's called the Barnacle.
Right. Basically, it's a suction cup that mounts to your windshield, and instead of a car boot, which clamps onto your tire and can only be removed with special tools, although if you watch Lockpicking Lawyer, you know that to be false.
Right. Yeah.
This will suction down to your windshield and has some IoT devices built in. So number one, there's a SIM card inside of it. There's also a GPS tracker and a couple other things on it as well. Mm-hmm. So it can call home. It can let the police department or parking enforcement know where the Barnacle is at this current time. It can let you know how long it's been on the device. It can also, but the way you're supposed to remove it is, let's say you park in a handicap spot or in a no parking zone. Right. Parking enforcement comes by. They put the Barnacle on your windshield. Oh no, I can't drive my car now. Right?
No. No, I think I already have an idea.
Okay.
For an app that will circumvent this.
Okay, we'll circle back to your app.
Okay,
Because I want to get through the explanation.
I'm already got this app idea.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So basically, they clamp this thing to your windshield, they timestamp it, and they say the fine is $45 or $120, whatever your fine is.
Yeah.
You get on, you walk out and go, oh no, my car has been barnacled.
Right.
You open up your phone. You get onto the university website. You pay the fine.
Right.
When you pay the fine,
And it
lets go.
Like, yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you've already noticed that it works on a suction cup, you've beaten a lot of people to the punch.
Yeah. Okay. You can probably defeat a suction cup. I mean, it's not that hard. You get a little bit of air in there, it goes away.
Right. So do you know the number one way they got air into it? They turned on the car defroster for 15 minutes. They warmed it up and it expanded the air and it popped it off.
Okay.
So literally turning on the defroster on your car for 15 minutes, just letting it idle in the parking lot would pop it off.
Right.
Some people would just get in the car and drive away because they'd roll the window down and they'd
just like look that.
They'd Ace Ventura it.
Now look at though, because like, okay, so there's tech defeating this thing, and they put tech to. You can probably do like a virtual like screen. You could put something on top of that, and then put something in front of you that you can have a virtual like front.
You're thinking of third-person driving.
Exactly. Yeah.
They've actually tested that, and it's not nearly as easy as it sounds like.
Well, I mean, there's going to be some delay. That's not being as great.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Right.
Delay and perspective are two big things.
Yeah.
Regan, $5 donation. My school started booting. In addition to ticketing this year, there were almost riots. And I guarantee there were, because no college campus I've ever been on has adequate parking.
No.
None.
None. There's none. Yeah. And they're always ticket happy, too.
Right. I've been on...
Very ticket happy.
I've been on probably... I could pretty easily say dozens of college campuses. There are never enough parking spots.
No.
And there's the meter lady walking around with a stick every 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, it's because they design these schools around a certain amount of population, and then 10, 15 years, the population explodes because you already have this giant student body, can't support the parking anymore.
Eugene, Corvallis, Portland, Oregon City.
All those places.
Go down the list.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
All of them are the same way.
Yep.
100%.
Seattle, Pullman, Berkeley.
All of them. I mean, college attendance has exploded.
Yep. So anyway, they tried some physical attacks to it of heating up the windshield and then sliding a credit card up under the suction cup
just to get
pops right off.
Yeah.
Okay. But the idea is that you're also responsible for taking it back to the ticketing agency to turn it in.
Well, that's the thing. Is like once you get the suction cup off, you just pick the thing up and put it in your back seat. You're like good to go.
Right.
Just keep driving. Who cares? Right.
But apparently it's the expectation that you will re-deliver this back to them.
Whatever, as long as you don't have to pay the fine, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Like you go drive up the thing and throw it out there. It's like, here you go. Here's your piece of crap.
Right. Here's your damn ghetto boot.
Yeah, I know.
Your boot knockoff.
Well, I mean, it'd be nice in like sunny areas. It would like not make your steering wheel as hot after a while.
Yeah.
It's like a nice sun shield for a while, and you just take it off.
Yep. Having to refresh the page a few minutes now is annoying. I think YouTube is having issues. I am still at literally 0 frames dropped.
Yeah,
Every frame that I have sent, YouTube has received.
On our side, we've had 0 problems.
Yeah.
And we have several people that say there's 0 problems. So
yeah, there's several people who say 0 problems. There's a bunch of people who say there are problems. So I apologize. It's not on me this time, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
I have to blame YouTube for that one.
I know YouTube was having, or Google as a whole was having some server issues earlier today. I got a number of notices for my Google sites that were having problems.
We need to unclog those YouTubes.
Yep. Plunger the YouTubes.
Yeah, plunger them.
So anyway, those are the physical attacks to this device. There were a couple electronic attacks to this device.
There's probably the same thing, too. There's probably vulnerabilities to, like, just let it unlock.
No one found a vulnerability to let it unlock, but do you know the SIM card has unlimited data?
Oh, yeah, of course there is. Yeah. So you just, like, flood it with data, and there's, like...
No, so one guy figured out how to actually hack into the device, broadcast a Wi-Fi point from it, and then tether all his devices to it so he could have unlimited data. Oh. Another guy simply ripped the SIM card out, put it in his iPad, and now his iPad has unlimited data, courtesy of the school.
So it wasn't like he, like, hacked it. He just, like...
No, one guy did hack it and was using it as a hotspot.
he didn't circumvent its purpose. He just like used it as a launching point to do whatever the hell he wanted.
He used it as a hotspot.
Yeah.
And there was another guy who ripped the SIM card out.
Well, that makes sense because like people who are designing these things are like, well, what kind of vulnerabilities do we have to circumvent for this to make people not want to detach it? But they don't look at like who wants to piggyback off of our Wi-Fi or who wants to like
stop booting and start booping. Boop. Boom. $5 boop. Peanut butter shotgun time. Also Uber.
All right.
Uber, I don't think delivers to your town.
No.
No. It's a distance. I have Uber in my area.
Not where I live.
Just barely though.
Not where I live though.
I'm on the edge of Uber ability.
Yeah. Well, I guess if I like conscripted somebody from an outside town to take me to where I live, that would work.
Mm-hmm.
But like if I was to ask some Uber to pick me up from my house, no, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Yep. Just switched browser from to Edge from Chrome and stuttering has stopped. And someone says I'm on Firefox, also on Firefox. Yeah, I think there's some problems going on somewhere with someone. And it's not me. I'm sorry.
That's the thing with browsers. From the early advent of browsers, from Netscape Navigator all the way to our modern day Chrome.
Yep.
There's always been like this is the best browser ever. Everybody starts using it. It becomes a bloated piece of crap, and then people stop using it and they start using the next one. This is the way. This is the way.
Yep.
This is the way.
All right, beer number 3. Double fudge coconut brownie. Great Notion Brewing.
Very looking forward to
Have you had this one yet?
No, I have not. I actually just picked this up today.
Go get another one out of the fridge.
No. This is going to be delicious, I can tell. Because Great Notion...
You like coconut, right?
Yeah, oh, I love it. Coconut.
God.
Okay, so if anybody comes to the Pacific Northwest to try beers, one of your first stops should be Great Notion.
Great Notion Brewing in Portland, Oregon.
Yes, exactly. They have actually 3 locations now.
Yep.
So there's no excuse. So you should definitely try them. There we go.
You didn't get quite as much head, but those are
whatever.
pretty
They're
darn
darn
equal
equal pours.
That's why I like these, is they'll split a pint
and
almost
you're right.
perfectly.
That aroma is very, very...
Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't.
Okay.
Mounds has nuts.
Oh my god.
Or Almond Joy has nuts. Mounds don't.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a little bit of metallic-y weirdness to it, but there's a lot of chocolate. There's a lot of coconut in there.
It's not a dark chocolate either.
No, it's a very like smooth chocolate, like a milk chocolate almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like dangerous.
Rainier is probably the best Pacific Northwest beer. Tech, you're just sitting there with Rhett, aren't you?
I was gonna say, is that Rhett?
No, it's not Rhett. Tech with Sean.
Tech with Sean. Rainier? No.
No.
Sorry.
Who is the most Northwest beer?
Like notoriously, or
like stylistically? I'd say Rogue is probably up there.
Yeah.
But not necessarily in IPAs. Like, if you're looking for anything else Northwest style...
That's a very hard definition, yeah. Because, like, Rogue is definitely... Rogue and Widmer are epitome of Northwest.
Rogue, Widmer...
Deschutes.
Fort George.
No, I don't think Fort George is distributed enough.
That's
I mean,
true.
definitely... I would pick...
I agree with that.
I would pick Fort George over, like, Widmer.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for, like, definitive Northwest brands...
But I'm also looking for... most distinct styles and most like variety of styles. Fort George produces everything.
Oh yes, they do.
And everything they do is good.
Yeah, they do. They're very, very good.
IPAs, stouts, reds, ales,
sours, all kinds of stuff. They do the gambit, and they do a really good job with it.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about Pacific Northwest, they're about the northwest of Oregon you can get.
Yes.
They're right there in Astoria.
Yep. They're literally under the bridge that you take to get to Washington.
Yes, they are.
On Highway 101.
Yeah.
Coast Highway. Yeah, Deschutes comes to mind. I would say Deschutes is certainly up there in the conversation.
Well, I distinctly say Deschutes because Dead Guy is one of those beers.
What about 10 Barrel?
No, I still think Deschutes is over Dead Barrel because Deschutes is distributed nationally.
Mm-hmm.
You can find them on the East Coast, and there's one of those beers. Dead Guy is one of those beers.
We're forgetting one.
What's that?
Ninkasi.
I don't know how far Ninkasi is distributed.
They're distributed pretty far.
Are they?
I've found them in the Midwest before.
Oh,
I found
really?
them in Texas. I found them a couple other places.
No, I remember.
They're not nearly as wide as Deschutes, but as far as like a varied, like produces everything and everything is good, Ninkasi.
Yeah, I remember finding like in the middle of like Pittsburgh, Dead Guy. I found Dead Guy.
Right.
There. I'm like, wow, that's like. And this was in the mid 2000s.
Right.
So like, I know that goes that far out there, and it's a very good standard.
I had to spend a week in Wisconsin probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and we spent most of the trip trying to find a good beer or a good cocktail. And God, Wisconsin, God bless you, but you guys love your Wisconsin old fashions, which is an old fashioned made with maple syrup and a couple other things in it, like Sprite.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, it's just syrupy, and everything you make is syrupy. You'll find out with New Glarus. Everything they make is like syrupy sweet.
Okay.
So we spent a lot of the trip like just exploring different cocktails and beers and everything else, and most of Wisconsin was nothing but domestics. Even like tap houses were like 30 different Miller and Anheuser-Busch taps, and then like 4 or 5 different craft taps.
Well, Skull has a good point. Legion is a pretty good Northwest.
Legion's a great example. Yeah. But we finally found one Irish tap house of all places, and it had 2 Deschutes brews on tap.
Okay.
Had Blackberry Porter.
And okay, all right. And then what? Pray for Snow, or what was it?
It wasn't Pray for Snow. It was
Pray for Snow is
10 Barrel.
No. Pray for Snow is
yes, it is. Pray for Snow's 10 Barrel.
No, Pray for Snow is Rogue.
No, it's not.
Yeah, Pray for Snow is Rogue. Pray for Snow is Rogue.
No.
Pray for Snow is Rogue.
I got $10 in my pocket.
All right.
Pray for Snow is 10 Barrel.
No, Pray for Snow is not 10 Barrel.
Pray for Snow, 10 Barrel.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Pray for Snow. It's one of my favorite seasonal brews.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Pray for Snow, 10 Barrel. Winter ale right there.
Okay.
Read it and weep.
Maybe I'm thinking Yellow Snow. Yellow Snow is
Rogue.
Yellow Snow is Rogue. Okay, all right, fine, whatever.
Combat Wombat, that's Rogue.
Yeah, that is Rogue, yes.
Spotted Cow is not syrupy sweet.
I hope not.
I tend to disagree with you.
Well, have you had Spotted Cow before?
I have.
Oh, you have?
I had one when I was back in Wisconsin. I had one. It was on draft.
I'm
because that crap was everywhere.
Yes, I know. And that was one of the things, because, like, my wife loves cows, right?
I felt Spotted Cow was syrupy sweet.
She's a big cow fan. And she's also a big beer fan. She loves beers.
Right.
And so the fact that there's a beer out there called Spotted Cow, it's like her holy grail. It's like she really wants to have some of this stuff. And so Novella Hub is like, I'm gonna go ship you guys up, and like you're my wife's big friend now.
Yep.
So I'm very interested to try this and see how it is.
It is a farmhouse ale, and they say it's more fruity than anything else.
Farmhouse ale sounds phenomenal.
But they back sweeten it with corn. Now they specifically say it's not corn syrup, but there's definitely a corny, syrupy kind of mouthfeel and flavor to it.
In the realm of like brewing beer,
right?
You could put corn as an adjunct in there.
Oh, totally.
You totally could do that.
Totally.
And it's not corn syrup.
Yeah.
Because corn obviously has some sugars.
Here is the definition of New Glarus. This is directly off their website. Cask conditioned ale has been a popular choice among brews since long before Prohibition. We continue this pioneer spirit with our Wisconsin farmhouse ale, brewed with flaked barley and the finest of Wisconsin malts. We even give a nod to our farmers. Now, 6 years ago, they didn't say we give a nod to our farmers. They say we back sweeten with corn. Now, this was before the whole corn syrup controversy started catching on. And so all of a sudden New Glarus started backing away. But I remember when I was in Wisconsin, they were bragging about we give a nod to our farmers with the back sweetening of corn.
I don't necessarily care that they back sweeten with corn.
And
as long as it's like we put corn in the mash process or something, that's fine.
Totally fine.
They do that with whiskey all the time. That's okay.
Yep.
As long as it's like we're not dumping a bunch of corn syrup in it.
Yeah.
That's different.
Right. And I think that's why they backed off of that statement, was people were going to interpret that as corn syrup. Yeah. I certainly did when I was there.
Okay.
And I certainly experienced a much sweeter farmhouse than I expected.
Okay.
And it is back sweetened with corn. That's how they advertised it in the beginning.
That's fine. I mean, I'm totally for that.
But now we even give a nod to our farmers, but it was the corn farmers because we back sweetened with corn.
Okay.
And it wasn't like a honey sweet or a sugar sweet or a cane sweet. It was a corn sweet.
That's fine.
And it's fine. I'm not saying it like a totally negative thing. I'm simply saying that was my experience.
No, I know what you're saying. Because like, there's a difference between saying I added corn to my mash,
right,
to I added corn sugar to my mash.
Right.
There's two different things.
Right. And the exact phrase I believe was we back sweetened with corn as a nod to our farmers.
Yes.
Corn gets sweet one of two ways.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Yeah.
Right, and so
you could process the corn and make like corn sugar.
Right.
Or you can just add corn to your mash.
Right.
And then you get a little bit of that sweetness to it.
Yeah.
Right. There's two different things.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's interesting how their marketing terms have changed over the last 5 years. And I was kind of like at the tail end of what they were marketing then. But as Novella Hub points out, Spotted Cow will arrive on Friday.
Okay, so we'll figure this out.
We will figure this out definitively.
I am very excited to try some Spotted Cow, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is one of those things, because we did the Hop Slam, which has been one of the things on my checklist that I wanted to try.
Yep.
Spotted Cow has been the second one. So within a whole week's time, I can be checking some
There you go. Yep.
beers off my beer checklist.
Yeah, I love the pairings that they give too. Here's the recommended foods for New Glarus Brewing Spotted Cow. Mm-hmm. Barbecue, grilled steak, jambalaya, brats, steak, which I don't know how that's different than grilled steak, but it's on the list.
Or barbecue, either way, yeah.
Seafood linguine.
Okay.
Limburger sandwich. Burger and fries, stir fry, bacon and eggs, cheese curds, potato chips, chicken sandwich, tilapia fillets. Just randomly throw a random fish in there.
I think they're just like reading off their menu that they have.
Tilapia fillets, pork rinds, Reuben, wings, fish fry, nachos, and then cheeses. We recommend the 5-year cheddar from Hook's Cheese, the Avondale truckle from Fayette Creamery, Silver Lewis Black, smoked Gouda, or Havarti.
Here's my experience. If you're drunk enough, anything will pair with anything. If you're brave enough.
But that is such a wildly different
I know.
subset of foods.
That doesn't seem like a pairing. It seems like they're just, here's our menu, and we're throwing it out there.
Yeah. And Civil says the horse is dead. I apologize.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right. We will go.
We'll get back.
We will go on.
We only have 2 more stories.
Okay. Yes.
So,
we do.
And we got 10 minutes.
We'll keep going.
We were stretching that one a little bit.
Yeah. I got you.
Kind of like the cheese curds.
There we go.
They stretch how good they are.
All right. This is delicious.
Everyone goes, you need to try the cheese curds. They're like,
cheese curds are good.
And I'm like,
deep fried cheese curds are delicious. They're the best things.
Yes, but they're like the squeaky and it's good.
No,
Every single place we went to, try our cheese curds.
No,
like,
they're the same.
I've had really good cheese. We have Tillamook in Oregon, and that's nationally distributed.
Yes.
And they're like, but it doesn't compare to Wisconsin cheese. I bet it does.
It's the same.
It's
the same. I mean, it's good, but it's the same.
Yeah. All right. Moving on, because Civil says the horse is dead.
Yeah.
Have you played this game?
I have not played outside of the time we went to PAX, and I played Goose Game at PAX.
Yeah.
I have not played Goose Game.
Okay. I love this game.
I know it's a great.
I personally love this game.
I do think it's from the small amount I played it.
Yeah.
I want to play that game.
Yeah.
I want to play more.
So if you love the Goose Game, Untitled Goose Game, which is actually from a Portland developer.
Yes. Well, no, the developers from Australia, the
publishers in Portland. That's right. Portland publisher. Excuse me.
Publisher.
So apparently someone has submitted a Lego set to the Lego Creation website, and they've submitted an Untitled Goose Game Lego.
Hey, why not?
And you can vote on it, and if it gets enough votes,
it will get a Lego release.
Lego, if they can get the rights to it, they will make an Untitled Goose Game Lego set. And I freaking want it.
I think that sounds pretty cool, actually. I've always been a big proponent of Untitled Goose Game. Ever since I first played the demo, I thought it was a great game. I haven't played it yet, but I think it's good.
It is worth a playthrough.
Yeah.
So they had a 1-year exclusivity with the Epic Store, which kind of put a damper on some of the PC release.
That's the only reason
I bought
why
it for
I
the Switch. I bought it for the Switch.
I don't have a Switch.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it working really well for the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own a Switch, and I don't support the Epic Store. That's why I haven't bought it yet. But as soon as it comes out for Steam or anything like that, I'm 100% buying it. Same thing I did with my friend Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
I bought that thing outright. I got it right now. Tillamook ice cream.
Tillamook cheese better than Wisconsin cheese. Thank
yes,
you.
There we go. Nice,
and
dude.
and that's dude from Minnesota. That's Novell Hub.
Hey, dude.
Tillamook ice cream is fire. I like the special edition toasted coconut and dark chocolate
I've had that one
gelato.
before.
Hell yes.
Yes, I've had that before, and it
My
is
fam.
really good.
Yep.
Not lactose.
So Big Spoon, I feel you. I'm actually allergic to some of the proteins in milk. I'm not allergic to lactose, but I am allergic to most dairy products.
I really feel sorry for people who are allergic to anything, because I'm not allergic to anything at all.
It's really the only food allergy that I have.
I believe I can eat something that's like radiated with plutonium and I'd be okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm not allergic to anything.
Yeah.
I've never had
strong like bull.
I've never had a problem eating anything.
Yeah. So I am allergic. I don't know what specifically I'm allergic to, but I guess as a baby I broke out in hives and I had to be fed goat's milk for various reasons and things like that.
No, yeah, I see that.
And
yeah, my mom gave us goat's milk when we were growing up too.
Yeah.
It's like, cause I grew up on a farm.
That's because you have 4 goats.
Yeah, we had a lot of farm.
Yeah.
A lot of farm goats.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm not lactose intolerant, but I am allergic to, I guess it's whey.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's the proteins within milk, not necessarily the lactose.
Chernobyl cheese for Steve. Yeah.
Chernobyl cheese.
Oh, dude, I'd eat some Chernobyl cheese. That sounds good.
That's right.
Glow in dark cheese. Oh yeah, with a little salami.
Heck
yeah, that sounds great.
Yep. So yeah, no, Big Spoon. I do feel you. I eat it anyway, and I suffer the consequences, but it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
I don't get hives anymore.
Well, that's good to know.
Record.
Yeah.
Yeah. Allergies incoming. Yeah. You'll develop them later in life, Steve.
I'm older than you are.
You're gonna develop celiac at like age 53.
I'm gonna probably develop like Alzheimer's before I develop allergies.
That's true. I don't remember. Am I allergic to this?
Yeah.
It's great. Another news. Last little thing we have to get to.
Yep.
So I never understand going after individual fan creators.
I don't either.
Fan shows.
I guess.
Fan projects.
Okay, in this particular case, I kind of do.
Kind of, but even the Star Wars universe has been very forgiving and very open and encouraging to a lot of fan projects.
Okay, let's show everybody what we're talking about before we talk about this.
We are talking about Baby Yoda homebrew, like Etsy style projects.
Here's my thought on this whole thing. I don't think that Disney realized how big Baby Yoda would be, and so they didn't have the pre-thought to make toys or merchandise for
which is very not Disney-like.
Which is very not Star Wars-like.
Right.
Because even the original Star Wars,
I still can't find Wally Kazam and Norville toys for my daughter.
Based around Star Wars was based around merchandising. Everything Star Wars was based around merchandising, except Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
That makes no sense, and it's been a phenomenon.
Yep.
And they're playing catch up right now.
Yep.
Which means that Disney is not in touch with the consumer at all. At all.
Yep. Which is so un-Disney-like because they are all consumer-centric.
Exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, Disney is basically going after Etsy sellers and eBay resellers and things like that.
Which seems bullshit to me, but
of homebrew Baby Yoda projects.
Yes.
So crochet Baby Yodas and 3D printed Baby Yodas and 3D models of Baby Yoda that you can buy on Shapify and
all those things,
or Shapeways, I guess.
Yeah.
They're going after those creators and giving them C&D letters, and it's the freaking weirdest thing ever.
I know,
because number one, if you're allowed to sell art of something, even if it's derivative of someone else's art,
you should totally be able to.
If it's a transformation of the work and either parody or inspired by.
Because there was never a crocheted Baby Yoda on The Mandalorian.
Right.
But a crocheted Mandalorian should...
Right.
Or a crocheted baby...
It's a unique but derivative work, which falls under copyright protection.
Exactly, yeah. It should be totally legal.
Right. So, yeah, it's weird that Disney's going after these people, especially because Star Wars in general has been very open to people openly using Star Wars licensing.
This thing that surprised me the most was, first of all, I mean, it wasn't surprising that Baby Yoda was a meme, a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be big.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that Disney did not even want to try to even merchandise it beforehand.
Right.
They should have had all their ducks in a row.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
they're trying to sell plushies of that damn little thing from The Force Awakens.
I know. I'm like, where's their marketing?
Or Last Jedi,
Where's their marketing focus going to?
That bloody... Yeah. I don't even know what they're called.
Even with the...
That's how effective that marketing was.
Yeah, that was the little poke guys,
The little Puffin meets Gremlin.
Yeah, those things. Those things didn't sell worth crap.
Or I guess Mogwai more important.
Yeah, whatever. That didn't work at all.
Yeah.
But Baby Yoda's blowing up. Maybe that was like a cautionary tale. They're like, oh, well, maybe Baby Yoda's going to be garbage. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, we're not going to market it.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda blows up. I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
It just shows that Hollywood's not really in touch with anybody. They really they're just like shooting in the wind like everybody else.
And as Civil says, C&Ds are free to send. Well, not entirely, but once you have one drafted, it's fine. But usually legal still looks over any C&D you send.
It really has to do with like who has the more power.
Yep.
Honestly.
Yep.
Disney's gonna have more power than anybody else. They own everything, and so they tell you to stop making stuff.
Yep.
People are going to listen.
Merchandising.
Where
the real money for the movie is made.
Spaceballs 2, the search for more money.
We got Mandalorian the lunchbox, Mandalorian the toilet paper, Mandalorian the flamethrower. The Baby Yoda fans just love this one.
Oh, yeah. Spaceballs was like prophetic.
Yes.
And also hilarious at the same time.
So anyway, if you're producing knockoff Baby Yoda merchandise, stop it.
Stop it now. Or keep doing it. I don't care. I don't give a shit. You can keep doing it. Actually, I encourage you. Keep doing it.
Actively encourage you.
I've actually
stick it to the mouse.
I've actually seen several like after the Baby Yoda came out.
I have a 3D printed Baby Yoda.
Oh really? You do already?
I do.
I've seen like the Baby Yoda cocktail come out.
Yes.
Which I'm like, oh yeah, dude, totally.
Yeah, Cocktail Chemistry came out with one, and there's been a couple posts on Reddit of different bars selling Baby Yoda cocktails.
Oh yeah, of course. It's like totally do the Baby Yoda cocktail. Yeah, that's
a couple of lime wedges and a cranberry for.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
it's like.
Yep, totally see it. The mouse sees all.
All right, so are we going to talk about Picard or? What?
I think we're probably going to talk Picard. So.
I'm a little worried about Picard.
Are you?
I am.
Are you?
I'm worried about Picard just because of the latest Star Trek that was on CBS Plus.
Discovery's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Discovery's not good at all. And
Discovery's failings lie in the fact that they tried to make it mass market,
right?
And they lost the core of the audience. Right. And without the core, you're not going to gain mass market.
Of course. And when they released and they said, "Hey, we're going to make Star Trek Picard," I thought that we're listening to the fans. We're going to go back to like the TNG type of thing.
No.
But when they did the press release, they're like, well, this is not going to be anything
this
like
is not TNG.
That makes me worried. Not that it can't be good.
Right.
It still can be.
Right.
It obviously can be, but it still makes me a little cautious.
I think it is going to be very different from any Star Trek we've seen before. Number one. First and foremost, I don't think it's going to follow any episodic...
That's fine. And I'm okay with that. If it's an overarching plot line type of a Star Trek show, I will be all on board with that.
A la DS9.
If they... okay. It mixed it. Back in the 90s, there was a lot of shows that were mixed. They had like the overarching plot line, but they also had the individual stories.
You're bringing like Growing Pains into this?
No, Growing Pains... I was thinking more like X-Files. X-Files had like the overarching like conspiracy.
But then story in a box.
But they also had the
Yeah.
Monster of the Week show.
Yeah.
Deep Space Nine was kind of like that too. I mean, they had the overarching story, but they also had the individual Space Monster of the Week.
Yes.
Not Space Monster, but you know, same
Right.
equivalent. And that was fine for the 90s, and it did because like they had to fill a season of like 22, 23 episodes. That's a lot, especially when you're talking about we have to fill 45 minutes,
Right.
22 episodes a year.
DS9
We
and
have to do
TNG
something.
were both 7 seasons long.
Yeah.
180 episodes each.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, you can't do that without some kind of filler, right?
Right.
You have to have some filler in there.
Yeah, I think it's like 171 and 182 or something.
And
like
yeah,
that.
and you can probably have a really interesting overarching story, compelling, but you have to have some compelling filler too. That's where it makes a long-lasting series.
Yeah.
You have to have some compelling filler. That's why I think X-Files was really good, because not only did they have a big overarching story, they had some really compelling filler. Deep Space Nine also. Yeah, same thing with Star Trek Next Generation. Kind of
Less overarching story.
less overarching story. Later series they did, but beginning did not.
Yeah, they started making it more about Q and about human trials and things like
Right.
that. And that was kind of the overarching story of TNG.
Story, very loosely related.
Yeah.
I think they fixed that with Deep Space Nine specifically,
Yes.
because they did have a big overarching story. They tried to do it better with Voyager. I don't think they succeeded.
Voyager, my problem with Voyager is the characters are the same at the end as they are at the beginning.
Right.
There was no... The writers on Voyager felt subpar to me, as compared to TNG and as compared to DS9. Both TNG and DS9 had some pretty lengthy character development. TNG, I will say, less so. There are characters that were very heavily developed. There are others that were just stagnant the entire time.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Worf and Data, especially,
Right.
were very heavily developed, very heavily influenced throughout the events of
Well,
all
because
the
they're the
seasons.
most interesting characters.
Right. But then
Non-humanistic.
But then you have Deanna Troi, who didn't evolve at all
Right.
throughout the entire series.
I feel your feelings at the beginning. I feel your feelings at the end.
Right. There's nothing more about your character that I know in season 7 and the movies than I did in season 1.
That's true.
A
one-trick pony. Yeah.
Beverly Crusher, I feel the same way. Maybe
They
a little
switched
less.
her out. They switched her out with what's her name?
Yeah.
In the middle. But
Yeah. But that was only one season. That was only season 2.
Yeah, that's true.
And there was a little bit of development with her relationship with Wesley and her relationship with Picard and whatnot. So there was a little development there, but not much.
Anything much.
Riker certainly became more of an authoritative figure and less of a bootlicker kind of as the series went along.
Well, once he grew that beard, of course.
Right.
You had to make him mad.
There was some minor character development. I thought they did a wonderful job with like Rolaren, O'Brien, etc. So there were some minor characters that were
They
very
did
well
branch out.
played
Yeah,
out.
they did.
Barkley was another one that
He was
did
a
well.
guest.
Right.
Yeah, they did have his character branch out.
But 5 or 6 episodes.
Ensign Rowe, they did that. They even branched her out with like
into DS9.
in DS9. Yes,
Right.
exactly.
But you look at DS9 and you look at Cisco, Jadzia, Kira, Odo, Quark, Garrick, Gul Dukat.
They did a lot more character development.
There was so much more character development there, and much more of an overarching story.
It kind of made sense because the setting for Deep Space Nine was we're in one place.
Right.
We're not going over. We're at a single place where a lot of ships pass by. So therefore, you have distinct characters, and therefore you can watch their character progress.
But even Nog, even Jake, you go down into like the sub minor characters and the mid tier characters. They all got very very well developed.
I get that for a development for progressing in a realm where, especially in the 90s, where that type of TV was not really known for.
Even Wesley saw more character development than Voyager characters, and
Yes,
I think that drives the
true.
point home.
Like Neelix was like a piece of garbage character.
I think Neelix and the Doctor probably got the most character development on that series.
The Doctor probably got the most character development.
I think he did too.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at Harry Kim.
Yeah. No
Look,
Chakotay.
Chakotay. Tuvok.
Yeah. Nothing.
Tom Paris got a little bit. B'Elanna got a little bit, but that's because they got married and had a kid. But it was kind of inconsequential
and
at the end.
7 of 9 did, but only because she was a forced character. She was like
exactly.
Really just
she was
jammed
injected in the middle, then goes, we have to do something with her
because she's Borg.
But I mean, look at Tom Paris.
Yeah.
Tom Paris doesn't even get a reconciliation with his dad at the end of the series. Like, for God's sakes, give the man a moment.
I know. No, I get that. And the thing is like, obviously the Next Generation was developed, and they migrated to film. They had movies about it. Deep Space Nine or Voyager, none of those developed into films, so they were regaled to that type of realm. So, given the track record, and given the track record of the latest Star Trek series, I have high hopes for Picard, but I'm also reserving a lot because I think they can really screw it up. I think they really can.
They can totally screw it up.
And
look at Game of Thrones.
Yes. Well, I mean, Game of Thrones was great for
6.5 seasons.
Yeah, exactly. Until they ran out of George R.R. Martin's material.
Yep.
Then it took a dive.
Started going on their own.
There's no Gene Roddenberry material left to eat up. Jean-Luc Picard is a very revered character. I hope they don't screw him up. I really don't, because he's a beloved character.
Right.
And
if you sully Jean-Luc Picard, so help me.
That's what I'm like. I have high hopes for it, but I also I'm gonna be very critical of it. I might be hypercritical of it.
Oh God, Star Trek memes and Risa is in my chat right now. Tuvik's got a lot of character development. Janeway is a murderer. Never forget.
Oh yeah.
She not only allowed, she endorsed Tuvik's being killed.
Oh yeah. She didn't care.
Yep. Here's the Prime Directive. It exists only for me to step over and then step back and go, hey, look, there's the Prime Directive.
Yeah. She's literally Star Trek's Hitler.
Oh, man. Good news, though. Possible Guinan in Season 2.
I did hear about that.
I watched that today.
That might be okay.
I think that's only the second clip of The View I've ever watched in my life.
I'm not a big fan of View, but I mean, it's I wouldn't mind seeing, because Guinan wasn't my favorite character in The Next Generation.
She wasn't necessarily my favorite all the time.
She seemed like a device for storytelling. Something that you would use to help develop a character. She was the bartender.
And she really was.
So you would go up and you would talk to them, and she would give the character advice, and they would develop because of that.
Hot take.
That was good.
Hot take. I wish Deanna Troi would never have existed, and simply Guinan carry all of that dialogue.
That actually might have been better, actually. Or the other way around.
Why do you have a ship's counselor as your senior staff in the second in command chair on the bridge?
Deanna Troi
never made sense.
Was supposed to be an empath.
Right.
She's supposed to be able to feel the feelings you are feeling.
Right.
And be able to tell the captain, like, this person feels fear.
Right.
This person feels anger. This person feels whatever. That's what she was on the bridge for. Because she's supposed to be an empath, right? So that person should obviously had been the person to help counsel other people. Right. But no, Guinan ended up being that person because she was at the bar where people would drink, but the place where people would drink wasn't really alcohol. I know, so no, whatever. Yeah. Okay. It didn't make much sense to me. and the fact that they had Whoopi Goldberg as that character, I think she did a fine job acting on those things.
I really
did. She did.
Yeah.
But I don't think that character was really needed. I think it was kind of shoved in there because we got Whoopi Goldberg and we can do it.
And I think it kind of was, but at the same time, I guess, and Whoopi revealed this today, that Guinan was one of the last characters that Gene Roddenberry had a hand in creating.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so Gene himself wanted Whoopi as a character, as Guinan, as this...
And I'm fine with that.
As this kind of mysterious character. Right. I mean, and she had some mystery that followed her even through Next Generation. Until we got to Star Trek Generations, and the story kind of focused around her. Yeah,
it did a little bit, and it put an air of mystery around her. But and maybe in Picard they developed that.
Yeah, but look at some of her very famous scenes in Next Generation, pulling up the laser rifle and shooting at the ceiling to break up a bar fight in season 2. Yeah. Look at showing up Worf on the holodeck training sim. You're on level 5. I guess I could come down to that.
I know. I get a very subdued character, but obviously not focused on by the writers. Obviously not focused on by the powers that be.
Right.
not a prominent character.
I wish the character would have either been Guinan or Deanna Troi.
I agree with you because they seem to have some crossover that didn't make much sense. It seemed like the powers that Deanna was given, she should have been that role. She should have been the counselor too.
And is Deanna Picard's confidant, or is it Guinan Picard's confidant?
Right.
And where does that relationship lie? And
you given the sense that Deanna is supposed to feel your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't want to share much with her because she can read that, and you don't want to expose that to her. And then maybe Guinan would be a better character. I don't know. They should have developed that more.
Yep.
It could have been a much better dynamic.
I'm sure Guinan had some real stuff under the bar, as she did. As remember, Data reached behind the bar and grabbed some green stuff from Mr. Montgomery Scott.
Oh yeah, there we go.
It is green.
It is green.
Which is a throwback to Montgomery Scott's famous scene of it's green. So
try the Tranya. Tranya. That's still my favorite episode. It's the original Star Trek episode where they had the big cone thing, and they go in there, and it's this little midget guy. It was Ron Howard's brother, right? As Clint Howard. Try the Tranya. Try the Tranya. It looks like freaking orange juice. It's like, oh, it's good. I love that episode. I don't know why I love that episode so much, but it's my favorite one. Try the Tranya.
Mm-hmm. I'm hopeful with the teaser, with the interview, because it was no longer Starfleet and that angle of the show. And okay, let's get into predictions.
Okay,
what we think the show is going to be about.
Sure.
Because there's been a number of leaks. I haven't read any of the spoilers.
I haven't either.
I have intentionally avoided those. I want to be surprised.
Okay. Me too. And that's precisely why I have not watched anything outside of trailers.
Right. So I've watched the teaser spots, some of the interviews about...
I haven't even watched interviews.
I've watched Patrick Stewart talking about how this is not the Picard we knew. This is 18 years on.
I did watch that.
He's left Starfleet.
Well,
and he feels lost.
That's the thing is the thing that bothered me the most is this is not Star Trek The Next Generation. Does that mean it's not going to be episodic, or does it mean it's not going to have the spirit of The Next Generation?
I don't think it's going to have the spirit of Next Generation because it's not episodic. This is going to be a much larger overarching story,
and that's fine. And I think
this is going to be Breaking Bad meets TNG.
Okay, and that's fine because I think that's what most modern audiences are going to look for.
And I agree.
I think most modern audiences want that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not looking for 1 week we have a different adventure, next week we have a different adventure. Right. I don't think people want that anymore.
Right. I don't think it's going to be at the 54-minute mark. We hit the reset switch and we're right back where we started.
When you're watching network TV and you get the episodic, Law and Order episode, that's what people expect.
Right.
If you're buying into CBS Plus, that's not what you want.
I want you to tell me a 15-hour movie.
I want an overarching episodic adventure.
I want you to give me
sense.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's what they're referring to, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If they're I'm not adhering to the principles of what Star Trek was or what...
I don't think that's it.
I hope not.
Right.
Because it was very cryptic. He didn't really say one way or the other.
So there are some things we know about the universe they're in.
Yeah.
We know it is following the original timeline.
Yes.
Now, the original timeline is the timeline they refer to in the new Star Trek movies, where there's a supernova, Romulus is destroyed, and that's the timeline we're living in. Yeah. Now, Vulcan has not been destroyed because that's new timeline.
That's the new timeline. That's the Chris Pine.
So Romulus has been destroyed by a supernova, and we know Picard is revered by the Romulans. We know he's very highly respected. Yeah. Likely, he mounted a rescue mission to save some of the Romulan people off of Romulus, or warn Romulus, or whatever else.
Could be the orphan or whatever they're talking about.
Correct. So we know there's Romulans working on his vineyard. Yeah. In some of the teaser trailers we've seen, there's Romulan people there. We know there's Romulans on his ship.
Influence the Romulan ale.
Right, and so we know this about the universe.
That means their wine might taste like MD 2020.
Right. We know that the Borg are somehow involved. That's why Hugh is coming back. That's why 7 of 9 is coming back.
Well, 7 of 9 is coming back because she's a prominent character and she's back on Earth in this timeline, regardless. But she had no relation to Picard before. When the trailer came up and she's like, Picard, blah, 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 blah.
What the hell are you doing here, Picard? Trying to save the universe?
That didn't seem that seemed unnatural to me because there was no
It
relation
does,
to those
but
two characters.
it does, but remember this is 18 years later.
I understand
now,
that.
There's only 3 humans who have ever been turned back from Borg. There's Hugh, there's 7 of 9,
and
there's Picard.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense that there would be some kind of connection there, but without any kind of backstory.
Right.
And I hope they fill that backstory.
I'm sure they will, because remember, 18 years have passed.
Yeah.
And here is my guess. I'm going to guess episode 1. Mm-hmm. We find out that Picard was responsible for rescuing the Romulans, likely against Starfleet protocol.
Okay.
He's likely reprimanded, and he leaves Starfleet because of it. That's my guess there.
I don't think that's necessarily the case because I think they're going to pick up. Picard has already left Starfleet. He's already
they're going to tell the story.
Okay.
And that's my guess.
Okay, could be.
Is that he knows the Romulans are in trouble. They say we'll let him blow up.
Okay.
And Section 31.
Right.
We don't need the Romulans.
Yeah.
The hell with them.
Yeah.
And we know Starfleet has some of those dark secrets.
Yeah.
I believe Picard likely went against orders, went to Romulus, rescued some of the Romulan high command and as many civilians as he could. And was either reprimanded or said, I'm going to leave Starfleet.
I don't think so. Based on the trailers, I don't think that's going to happen because the trailers are focused on one character, this girl that they're talking about.
But that gets into my next point.
Okay.
I believe some of the surviving Romulans, because they're used to having a lot of the power.
Okay,
they were one of 3 major players in the Alpha.
You could be right about them rescuing a lot of Romulans. Maybe Picard had nothing to do with that.
I believe he had everything to do with it.
Maybe he had some influence
because
to it.
He is highly revered by the Romulans that are there.
I get that. Based on his character and what he does, he may have influenced that, but I don't think he had a direct hand in that because that doesn't jive well with the storytelling because that makes him to be already a prominent figure in a storyline that hasn't been told yet.
Right.
So I think,
and I can see that,
and it could be okay, we took his.
So remember, there's also been 18 years, and say this happened in year 7.
I know, and it could be more that I'm thinking that something happened. They took the cue from his overarching thought because obviously his thought of rescuing these Romulans and stuff like that would be an overarching theme within the faction of the Federation, and that other people shared that. Okay.
And remember, one of the primary goals in the Next Generation, one of the overarching stories of Next Generation was the conflict with the Romulans. Right. And it was very well known that Picard and Riker wanted peace with the Romulan Empire.
Right. Okay. So, and I get that.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
That's what I'm thinking. That's the extension of it.
Yeah.
Not directly related to Picard because he portrayed that and then the rest of the Federation or a faction of the Federation would agree with him at that point. And then they took action. Maybe, and because of that action, there was a faction of that boiled down to that portion of Picard where he met this orphan, and it could come down to.
See, I think
that makes it more compelling than just I think Picard being.
No. I think the orphan comes in later. I think you're right. So I'm not disagreeing with you. There's an aspect to the orphan. Here's what we also know. We know that remnants of the Romulan Empire are experimenting with Borg technology. That we see assimilation chambers and basically concentration camps, and we see this girl in one of those concentration camps. We see no assimilations for 8,300 some odd days. We see those signs on the wall, and she's in those camps with another girl. Okay. I believe she escaped from one of those camps, and she's trying to seek asylum with Picard. Picard knows the Borg, and I believe this is probably remnants of the Romulan Empire that are doing these, superhuman, let's experiment with Borg.
It could be because
Romulan tech.
They are having these hints of some big overarching big ramifications, ominous type of a thing. It could be
that's what I believe. So I believe this girl is a product of that. So I believe those both exist in their own bubbles, I believe we're both going to get.
That's a valid theory.
We're going to get both of those stories within the first couple of episodes.
That's a valid theory. I think it's a valid theory.
So
I don't know what will happen, but.
And I believe Picard is likely setting out to find out what's going on with the Romulans. What are they doing? What are they cooking up? Are they experimenting with Borg? He's probably taking 7 of 9 and Hugh with him.
I honestly don't think that that's going to happen. I think it's going to be more intro Federation type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to go like outside of the realm of the Federation. I think it's going to have ramifications within the realm that Picard can deal with within his like current state of his standing. That's what I think.
I think he goes to the Federation to seek assistance or to say you guys need to do something about this, and they refuse.
And then he goes out.
And then I think he goes out and goes rogue.
And that could happen.
That's what I think.
Okay.
Because remember the crew that we're seeing is a weird Borg Romulan mix crew.
Well, I mean the only Borg faction part of that is
we know 7 of 9 and Picard.
Well,
and we know Hugh is going to play a dominant role as well. We know all 3 of those characters are going to be fairly dominant within the series.
All right, we will see. We will see. I mean,
that's my guess.
It could be anywhere. This is Hollywood.
We'll find out in about 3 hours.
Yeah. We shall see.
Anyway, my viewership has been dropping sharply since we began talking about this.
I'm sorry. I was like a
so we're gonna get going. Right. Anyway, Big Spoon 2020 Star Trek Wars dies with the Lord of the Rings of Potter.
Yes, sorry.
I fully agree. Sorry, we told you we were going to be talking about this. By the way, Picard is up now and available. Just saying. Thank you, Skull.
Yes, it is.
Do you need to drive home?
I'll wait a little bit.
All right. Thank you so much for watching episode 116 of Talking Heads, your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. Make sure to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to Hops and Brews if you want to see me and Steve over on John's channel reviewing beers over there.
We will do that.
Make sure to join the Patreon. Link is down in the video description as well if you enjoy this kind of content and want to keep it going all week long.
Yes. We should do a group watch of Picard would probably pretty fun.
I thought about doing that tomorrow night, actually.
That would be really fun, actually. Yeah. I think we should do that.
The freezer is frozen. No, it is still totally liquid.
It's still fine, actually.
It is still totally liquid. Yeah. But we might be watching Star Trek Picard
I think that
with a nice chocolate porter.
Yeah, we should do that. I think that would be good fun. Yep.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, we'll see you next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Latest in beer and tech news. Thanks, guys.
See you guys.